Hello and welcome to episode 135 of In PS We Trust, a PlayStation podcast. My name's Davey and joined with me, as always, is the fine wine himself, Mr. Philip Hoy.
Hello.
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 How you doing, my mate? You good?
I'm all right.
Fair to middling.
Yeah,
and
keeping going.
joining us, His Highness himself, the King, Spencer Davis.
Yes, boys. It's podcast night again, baby.
It is indeed, my friend. Well, we have got an absolute stack show for you. Listener, if this is your first time tuning in to In PS We Trust and you decided to join us at 135 episodes in, then welcome. It's an open tent. It's a big tent. We can take you in. You can come under us for shelter, for warmth, for the occasional bit of food and scraps that we leave on the table for you guys that we deliver in quick news. What have you got in store? Well, you've got one of the best goddamn PlayStation podcasts on the internet. Not my words, reviews from our reviewers. So thank you everyone that has put reviews on. We really do appreciate them. They are climbing up 4.9 stars. Today is a normal, typical run of the show. We're going to kick it off with a question that I'm bringing to you boys. Then we're going to run into what we've been playing to discuss the latest and greatest that we've been playing on the PlayStation Nation. Then we're going to move it into the quick news, and we got loads to go through. We got new rumors for new things coming out of NetherRealm. We've got crazy news, as far as I'm concerned, for the PSVR 2, and a load of other stuff. We will get there very shortly, and we're going to end today on listener questions. And audience, you've outdone yourself today. Normally I ask for questions on Twitter and Discord, and it's like a fucking tumbleweed sometimes. Or some of the questions, no offense, that you put up just don't make the cut. But today I've included every single question we've received, which is fantastic. So thank you ever so much. That's both from Twitter and Discord, so well done.
I'll say I got beef with the questions, but I'll save it for when we get there.
Christ, the King has spoken. All right, well, yeah, save your outrage for later on, King, okay? Save that for now. Because I've got a little bit of outrage to kick this show off with. As you remember, Spence, being the king, set a rule for quick news, which is make quick news quick again. And as part of that, he put it over to the audience to vote on who should get a shot when we go into episode 140 on the big quiz. The results are in, boys. Ooh, can we get a drum roll? So, with 2 votes each, Phil and Spencer. Me, I got 3.
Hey.
Right. If this is the way it's going to go for the next 5 odd episodes, that's fine. Bring them on, right? Like, I did 14 odd shots last time. It's never going to be as bad as that this time unless I hit the Resident Evil button time immemorial, right? Every single chance I goddamn can. So bring it on. I'll be the sucker. But all I'm asking for, audience, right, is just peer into your soul a little bit. Peer in, have a look, and inside on the angel side of you, you'll see me, whereas these boys are the devil on your shoulder, right? Listen to me, the voice of reason.
That's
Yeah.
Joe, he's flinging slurs at you at the end of each episode.
What? Madness. Never would I.
Wait till the end of this one.
Yeah, it's
Also,
coming.
I wonder who the third was, because obviously you and me, Phil, and then who was number 3?
Davy's mum, maybe? Just wanted some payback?
It's Joseph Thomas, I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah,
I guarantee you. So it goes to show, right, that I don't know who I voted for out of you two. For myself, like, I put a vote in. I don't know who I voted for.
I didn't actually put a vote in.
I think I might have voted for Phil, but I'm not sure. Because I think originally you and me, Spence, were on one apiece, and I was like, oh, we got to even this up. So I put one on to Phil, so it was all equal. And then it stayed equal forever. And it was like the last couple of hours, then it tipped into me being the loser. I'm not salty about it, obviously. I'm only bringing it up for the first 5 minutes. But with that aside, there's going to be another vote on this one, boys and girls. So make sure to go on and put a vote on. Don't care who it goes to, we like to drink, right? So let's have some fun with it. But before we get into any of that, let's kick off with a question. And today's question is a little bit of a weird one, right? So I'll give you the background to this. I was sitting at home. I had this dream, right? That I woke up and this happened to me, this scenario that I'm going to go through in a moment. And in my dream was something that I thought was a perfect plan. And as we go into this, I'll explain why that plan in reality was a fucking terrible idea and how I've had to pivot. But this has spawned the question. So the question today is, if you were a supervillain, no powers, just infinite resources, so think someone like Lex Luthor, what would be your plan to take over the world? Throwing it over first to Spence. What are you thinking, buddy?
Oh, over to the king first.
As it should be. That's right, boys.
What are you going to do, King?
So, for one, why do I have to be a supervillain? Can't I just be Lex Luthor rich and just,
Well, just do nothing. No, you have to be wanting world domination.
Ugh. Alright. Well then this is my strategy. Just in terms of a supervillain, I'm not looking at me achieving a goal. I'm just trying to become the most hated person in the world. Right? That's what I think a supervillain can be.
Right.
Like Atom Eve's dad, an Invincible. Just pure bellend. So what I would do is I'd create my own company that keeps up with charities, and any good they do, like if they go build a well in Africa, my company goes and smashes the fuck out of it.
Right.
A company does that?
Yeah, my company, my charity that is all funded by me. So anything any charity has ever done, they're sending food off to wherever. Nah, that's getting bombed. You're planting 1 million trees, cut down. Car
Not just
parks.
Eat the food or take the food off them, no, bomb them.
No,
You've gone to the extreme.
Waste that food. Every single bench has those little spiky things so homeless people can't sit on them. I'll be drilling them in myself. Making life suck for as many people as possible. And I'd raise the price of the PS5 again.
So how does any of this...
That's a big one.
This all might be like ranging from quite petty for the homeless straight up to just menacing, right? But how does this help you take over the world?
I'm not trying to take over the world in the sense of... This is what I said. I prefaced this, bro. I'm taking over the world by being the most famous person in the world because I'm the most hated person in the world, and that's who people speak about the most.
Okay, so you'd have like an insane Twitter following is how you're counting like your so it's more like your influence rather than
I'd be on the news every damn day. They'd be like, "Oh, Spence has done it again. Oh, another well smashed. Another, puppy kicked. Another bloody whatever.
PS5 price increase again."
Yeah.
But how would you get away with it, Spence? Because most of the things you've come up with sound somewhat illegal.
I'm a supervillain, bruv. I've got...
You haven't got powers. You've just got money.
Yeah, but infinite resources.
The law all your life. Look at Epstein.
It's not just money. It says infinite resources. That's weapons, energy, people, staff. Anything I want, really. It's resources. Whatever I deem a resource, I would have infinite of. I'm sound, blood. What are they going to do? Infinite locks on my door. They ain't coming in. What do you mean?
Just extra locks on your door.
Try and catch me, bro. It's fine.
Jesus. All right. Well, it's not where I was thinking this question would go, but I like the creativity that's gone into it. That's for sure. Just being a dick. Yeah. Just being an absolute royal dick. Just for like no reason, really.
And I would hire people as well to call up businesses and just like, the people who scream at poor customer support workers. They are just scum. I just have a full line of staff just doing that on the regs.
Would you also be one of those things where you do like the side of content creation that nobody likes? Like when people give out money to people or whatever and they go to like the checkout and they're like, "That's for you." And they're like, "Oh, thank you very much." You could be that guy. You could be like, "That's for you." And then they take it and then you just be like, "Oh, 1 second." And you just burn it in front of them. You could just be like that guy. Oh,
I wouldn't do it personally, but I would have a marketing team that goes out and does that.
They
for
do
me,
that kind of stuff. That kind of content. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. What about yourself, Mr. Hoy? What are you thinking with this one?
Well, straight off the bat, I want to ask you: aren't all rich people somewhat evil?
To a certain extent.
If they've earned the money themselves rather than inherit it, don't you kind of believe that they've done something nefarious in their life to be able to achieve that level of wealth? Because we're talking Lex Luthor. He's no, just average Joe with a big house and a couple of cars. He's got an empire So to be able to achieve that in a lifetime, and God, I've been trying, I haven't got to that level yet. So I'm considering becoming evil.
There's definitely a lot of pros to being evil, because then you don't have that moral compass to steer you away from potential profit opportunities. Like
True.
Spence is saying with benches. Another evil thing could be, like for homeless people, you hire the bench out. After 10 p.m, you hire security, which costs more than you make on the bench. Anyway, so it's a loss-leading product. But you put it out there, security, which stop homeless people getting on until they pay rent to sleep on the bench. And just because you're just a bit of a dickhead about it.
Sounds okay, I suppose. I was wondering with Spencer's how he's going to earn the money from the things he did, because a lot of them just seemed like he was just being terrible to people. So I saw no profitability there. But my idea's got somewhat of an idea how I could increase my wealth as my influence grows. Because what I would do is buy a popular social media site. I would have myself as the figurehead, and I would subtly change the rules of the site to meet my agenda. I'd give people a way to earn money on my site so they become dependent on that site. And I would try to take over the world.
So you just be Elon.
A bit political, I think, that. Musky boy.
Fair.
There's no links to any real person. It's just an idea that I've been brewing.
Oh,
if I
fair.
had that wealth to invest, maybe I've got a secret rich father, which lends me some money where I'm able to buy a popular social media. I don't know which one I'd buy, probably X if I could, you know.
Why not? Yeah.
And sort of
Oh my
put myself
God.
up the top and sort of maybe try to influence people. Maybe I'd even, make friends with a president. That'd be pretty cool for a little bit until we fell out.
I wonder who has more followers, Elon Musk or Tom. Do you remember on MySpace or
Oh,
whatever?
MySpace.
Tom,
Oh,
yeah,
MySpace.
Tom would add everyone, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Second, I was like,
Yeah.
who the fuck's Tom?
Yeah, do you remember from MySpace? He had a lot in his prime, didn't he?
He'd be an auto ad, wouldn't he, with MySpace? But the thing is, Tom didn't try and do anything with that
He was
influence
good.
that he gained, right? Other
Yeah.
than try to keep people on MySpace until he ultimately sold the platform to Justin Timberland, I think it was.
Yeah, something
That
like that.
actually
Right?
ended up buying, or Timberlake. I don't know, one of the two.
Yeah,
Was
yeah,
it
he
Justin
Timberlake.
Timberlake?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Oh
he
my
ended up
God.
investing into MySpace as it was on the out because he wanted to change it to a music platform because MySpace was very famous for having music on it, right? And it was
Yeah.
free. There was no kind of laws in those days. You could just pick a song and have it play on your website. And that was okay back in the day.
Yeah, every band had a MySpace, didn't it? Like, you had to have one. If you didn't have a MySpace, then you weren't really a band. You know, everyone had one. And yeah, you could just put whatever content you want on your page. Great times. MySpace
Design
was
it
a great
any
time.
way you like. You had
Yeah.
access to the HTML, so you could
Yeah.
do some things within markup. I don't believe it allowed you to write JavaScript. There wasn't anything programmatical that you could do in that space, but there was ways to sort of change the view via some CSS and really mess with people. There were some creative ideas out there on MySpace. It was where I actually learned how to do web development. It was the first section of code that I ever wrote was on MySpace. So I owe MySpace quite a lot, actually. But that wouldn't be the one I try and buy. It'd have to be mainstream, something people reference a lot. As I said, maybe X, if I was going to do it.
Yeah. I tell you what your thing has just given me a question for you boys because I've looked it up. Who do you think is worth more, Elon or Lex?
Lex, surely.
What
Surely.
do
he's
what do you
worth more.
think? Do you have an estimate for their net worths? So I've got both right now.
Isn't Elon the richest man in the world currently?
In the real world,
In the real
obviously,
world, yeah.
Lex is fictional.
Yeah,
I
so
reckon-
so definitely Elon then.
I reckon Lex is worth like trillion. I reckon he's a trillionaire.
Trillion.
I'm going to go with Elon, the power of Musk.
I'll tell you what. Lex's net worth is 75 billion.
Oh, okay.
Elon's is over 10 times that, 780
Jesus
billion.
Christ. That's
780
ridiculous.
bill.
That's mental. Imagine having all that and still being a bit of a loser.
It's
Like-
crazy.
Wild, man. Wild. Just so awkward. It just doesn't make sense, But fair play to him. Fair play to him. Well, you guys have gone very much down like the influence route here to be able to take over. And I suppose so have I in my rethink. But I'll tell you my original one that happened in the dream. So in the dream, what happened is that the moon's up there, isn't it? It's pretty big.
Up there in terms of what?
Up there in the sky, mate. It's
Okay.
it's up there. Dude.
It's up there.
It's up there.
That moon, fuck me, it's up there.
So my original plan was strap enough rockets to the moon so then I could be like, I'm taking over the world, and if people don't agree, if you don't all just join me and like get ruled by me across the world, I will slam the moon into the earth. And they'd be like, what? And I'd have enough rockets to push the moon into a collision course with Earth, so like half the Earth would just get like fucking decimated, right?
Mate, it would be a lot more than hot. It would annihilate.
It'd be bad.
Earth.
I swear this is from a cartoon.
It's from Despicable Me.
Despicable Me, he shrinks the moon, thank you, and
He
steals
wants to
it.
steal the moon, yeah.
Yeah, he wants to steal it. I don't want to.
It's an
I
80s cartoon that definitely has something like this, where they move
does it?
the moon. Yeah, it's ringing some bells for me.
Oh, well, I just thought this would be perfect plan, because I could just, if I got unlimited resources, get the rockets up there, dig them into the moon, and all I need is just enough to be able to push the moon. It can't be that bad. I did the math on it, right? Have a
You
guess.
did, or AI did?
AI did. Come on. Have a guess how many Saturn V rockets it would take to move the moon into collision with Earth.
6,000.
Spence, what do you reckon?
And it's like...
I don't know how you're trying to work this out.
No, so they're like strapped to it.
Just a number, say 6,001.
I guess so, yeah, I guess so.
I don't think it'd take that many. I think I'm going to say 300.
It's 54 billion
Oh, shit.
was the number that came up.
That's
So,
almost as much as Lex's net worth.
Yeah, so it gave me practical ways that I could make it a little bit easier in terms of making it so that it's on a slight collision with Earth. So every year it gets slightly closer. So in like 30 years it would then collide. But I wanted it to be frame one, like we're boosting this rocket. You got like a week, and then it's game
that's
over.
what. Yeah.
So like 54 billion. So that threw that one out the window, right? That's even with unlimited resources. That's not possible, really, is it? 54 billion.
But Davey, I might be able to lend you some rockets because of course, once I've got my social media site, I might push into that space and start sending up rockets.
You might do. 54 billion's a big ask for
Well, once
anyone,
I've done
though,
the electric cars thing, got to do
Yeah.
that. Obviously, that'll be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe try and do a hoverboard at some stage as well. He's not got to that stage. Did a flamethrower. I like that. Admire that. That's evil. Evil flamethrower. Tesla flamethrower. That's the thing he did. But yeah, I'd have some rockets I could lend you. Probably not as many as you need, but I could get you, somewhat of the way there.
Yeah, see, this is the problem. I need 54 billion, apparently. So that threw that one out the question, right? So then I was thinking, right, well, taking over the world, you guys have gone for influence, and I kind of have as well, but I've gone on a lot more blackmail-y route for my way to power, right? So what I'd do, first off, kind of inspired a little bit by Epstein, right, is that I would have these lavish parties.
18 minutes in and his name's come up
Here
twice.
we go.
Brilliant.
Here we
Yeah.
go. So I'd have these lavish parties where all like the rich and famous come. It's crazy. It's great. Everyone's loving it. Do that for maybe 5 or 6 years, right? Where it starts off very, very like tight in terms of not many people can go. You gradually expand it 'cause more people want to go. It becomes like the thing everyone wants to go to. Oh, Davey's putting on this crazy. He's got this island. There's some crazy parties going on. I wish I'd get an invite. Oh, I got one, right? And eventually it goes up to like world leaders where they're coming. And then all I do is I then make sure that I don't attend the event the world leaders are there. And I get all of them together. And then what I do is I've like gone to like some village or something like that or a town. And I go to all the adults and be like, look, I've got unlimited money. How much to borrow your kids for the day? Nothing will happen to them, but how much for the day? And they're like, oh, I don't know, $1 million. You're like, yeah, no worries. Get all these kids, drop them off on the island, and the kids' mission is to go up and get a picture where they're holding hands with a world leader. The entire thing covered in cameras, and I blackmail every single one of them to say they're all diddling kids. Even though they're not, everyone would think they are. And then I've got power without anyone knowing I've got power. And therefore, I could be like, we're doing this. And they're like, we can't do that. That's suicide for our political career. And I'm like, slide the picture over. that would be political suicide. And they're like, oh my God, no, no. And it would never come back to me because I wouldn't have been there at that event. It wouldn't be under me. It'd be a different island, different thing like that. No one would know. I'd have made sure all that was wiped clean. So I'm not involved on paper, but really I've masterminded the whole thing to gain influence in the darkest way possible. No harm would have come to these kids, by the way. They get shepherded back, their parents are laughing. But they're all tightened up with NDAs out the arse. So they can't come back and snitch on old Mastermind here. And then I've got unlimited influence like the Illuminati. And that would be the plan.
And this idea came to you in a dream, you said?
No,
it wasn't that you were watching BBC News and they were talking about Epstein.
No, Phil, you're getting it confused. The wrong way around.
54 billion rockets.
So he was dreaming about rockets, not kids.
Yeah,
just get that
dreaming about
right.
rockets. When I was thinking about, okay, if I can't make that work, how can I take over the world?
How else am I going to do it?
How can I take over the world? You've seen how much trouble this has made for Trump when someone wasn't intending to get him in trouble, right? Like, if you can get all the world leaders and they think it's just like some awesome party, it's going to be great, and then all of a sudden kids flood in and start holding people's hands and there's pictures of it all, dude, they're fucked. And it's everyone, so none of them would talk about it ever, but and I'd just let each of them individually know that I've got dirt on them.
They famously like hanging out with each other, don't they, world leaders?
They love it.
They do,
Yeah, gotta be. If Putin's there, I'm there. Fucking hell, that cup of drink.
Yeah,
let's go. Chug, 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 chug. He'd be straight on the body, wouldn't he?
He would, yeah, he would.
This blackmail plan, I'll be honest, mate. One, I wouldn't look at Epstein as an inspiration.
It's a villain's plan. This isn't like a you got to take yourself out of it. You're a good guy, same as I am, right? We got to go dastardly. What's the way to be able to seize power? You can't do it in... Yeah, exactly. You can't do it in some conventional way.
Do you have a dick with you?
Yeah. What's that, sorry?
Muttley.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You do need Muttley there.
You 100%. Do need Muttley.
But also, your plan to blackmail, right?
Uh-huh.
That's happened to Trump now. He's still the president. Other than people going up to him and being like, oh, you like kids, he's just like, wrong, and walks off.
Yeah, but they don't have the smoking bullet. Isn't there? Is it the pictures haven't come out from like the FBI making sure those pictures?
It's all AI these days, mate. You can just flat out deny things in this world, apparently.
Say I now, bro.
What you have to say is, that wasn't me. No, that was not me. I was not there.
And then he'd just be like, right, we've sent this in for forensic tech. Because you go to the Chinese then at that point, and you'd be like, hey, you don't like the Americans, do they? But no, it'd be like, run this through forensic scanning and just confirm it's legitimate. And they'd be like, yes, of course I will. Davey, of course I will, because you've got pictures of me. So yeah, of course I will. I'll do whatever you say. And so they run it through, they confirm it, the Chinese confirm it, the UK confirm it, everyone confirms it apart from the person who's saying it's on them, and they're the first domino to fall. They're the first one down, the big player, and they're like, oh my God, if it can happen to America, it could definitely happen to us. And then I'd be like, I want this. This is how the world should be run. No council tax.
So you're targeting the US first. Who else is on your sort of hit list, wish list, if you like, for your party? Because they probably wouldn't all go to a party. It's not enough getting us three to the same place at one time.
Yeah.
Oh no,
all the world leaders.
I'd get them.
You'd just get them, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I'd get
kids would be too enticing, bro.
Yeah, they'd be able to smell that many congregated.
The issue is, as well, your plan, right?
Yes.
That framed them as diddlers. All of them were, bro. Like, you bring those kids, the kids are getting diddled.
Well, I have to make sure that doesn't happen.
What's
I'll have to
your
protect
plan?
the kids.
You can't be like, all right, take the picture. All right, cool, run.
Yeah, get out, go.
That.
Because the pictures, the cameras would be running 24/7, right? But the kid would come in just literally. All I need is the still. All I need is the still of the kid holding the hand and looking up or looking down, scared. I think that would work even
with
more.
the top off.
Just looking down, holding the hand. Even if the person at the time's like, what's this? It's going to be tough to explain that. It's going to be tough to explain that one. And that's enough. That's enough to seize influence. That's all you need. That's real power. Nobody knows. You're in the shadows, pulling strings. Could be like making sure that I never have to pay income tax again. Do whatever I want. Whatever you guys want, we can make it happen.
Do they necessarily need to be children, or could they just be a closely shaved younger man?
Closely shaved younger man would be fine, as long as it looks convincing enough. You know,
enough in a photo, in forensic photo that the Chinese did in their 30-minute photo development studio.
Yes, exactly right.
Well, for myself, tribute.
You get the photos and you put them in that paper bag and you ship it to China.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'd be flying straight over there, just sitting down with Xi Jinping and be like, "Hey," and he'd be like, "Oh no, how's it going?" I was like, "How was the party the other week?" He's like, I'd be like, slide it over.
I got one question for you. Was that Spencer or was that an actual child?
What would you prefer? G. And yeah, and that's my master plan. So if it's not rockets, it's kids. One of the two. One of the two. It's an evil plan. It's not a good plan. It's not a goodies plan.
It's an evil plan.
It is an evil plan, and I reckon it will work.
It has worked
Yeah,
historically.
yeah. It just needs more harder evidence, and that's what I'll be able to supply with the pictures. You know, frame one, and all the other allies could just back me up on this, because some people are going to be little bitches and they'll be like, "Oh my god, yeah, I'll do whatever you say." Some won't, and they'll fight against it. They're the first dominoes to fall. The ones who resist are the first ones to fall. And as soon as one falls, it's game over for the rest.
Would you? I don't know if you boys have read much of the Epstein files. I've only seen bits of it.
No.
But have you
Every
seen?
night, mate.
Yeah, to go to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, it puts me to sleep, that one.
There's an email from Elon being like, "Can I come?" And they're like, "No."
I know, it's the best.
Would you have Elon on your Davey Island?
No.
Would
No,
you
I
let him attend?
I think I think
Because this is Phil at this point. Phil is Elon.
Well,
Yeah.
I've bought his website, so he's up to something else now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd probably let him go on like the third one. So before we get to world leaders, so that it's I won't let him in the first or the second, because then there's going to be that one that he wants to go, right? And then if Elon goes, there'd be somebody else in, like a world leader might be like, "Oh, I really want to go now that Elon's been there," and so has Jeff Bezos and everyone else, right? They've all been there. It's class, I've heard. And then it starts flowing out. So it won't be on the first one. The first one I'd need to make it really, really good. Really, you know, maybe have like actual royalty there and things like that, and make it like a really prestigious event. Nothing untoward. It's great. Everyone has a fantastic time. News crews are there after, and they're like, "Yeah, brilliant, blah blah blah." And then by the time we get to like the 10th party and we get the world leaders involved, it's then on a different island, bought by a different shell company. It's completely separate from my normal kind of events, but they think it is the real deal, and it is. Other than I deploy the secret weapon.
Would you have those vodka shots that we had in Leamington Spa, because they were pretty good?
Probably. I mean, it'd be pretty high class affair.
Well, they were high class. I remember I had a few of those, and I felt like I could rule the world.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they were like £1.50 for a double vodka. I mean, who can go wrong with
Those are
that?
high class.
Way more than a double in that. And those plastic glasses. It was like a little tuck shop. That's what you should open on your island, a little tuck shop.
I think it'd be pretty classy. It'd be a pretty classy affair. But other than the fact it's all there just to gain influence and power. Audience, I'd love to know what you would do in this situation. Would you go down a similar route to myself and use a blackmail style way to gain power?
Anyone owning up to that?
Yeah. No way, bro.
Would you go a different route about it? Let us know. Write in to the email, pswetrust@gmail.com, or hit us up on any of the socials.
And just to be clear, this isn't a sting, all right? So if you are really into this, we're not going to dob you into anyone.
I don't know. I probably would.
You reckon?
Yeah. If somebody came into our Discord and was like, "Oh, do you know what, lads? I love being a nonce. I love being a nonce." I'd be like, "Where'd you live again, bro?" Woo!
Straight round.
Oh, straight round. Get me involved.
Do they get free speedboat as well?
Oh my god.
The people attending the party. They have whatever they want, mate. Yeah, I got unlimited resources, right? Have whatever you want. Anything to make it more the allure being too much, you know? But anyway, audience, I'll leave it over to you, and with that we shall move it on to what we've been playing.
This time on NPS We Trust, what have the boys been playing?
So guys, it's been 2 weeks since the last podcast, and I'm desperate to know what you've been up to in your time. Spence, we always start with yourself. So let's keep that gravy train going, baby. Give me the king juice. Let's find out what you've been playing.
Actually, as the king, mate, I overrule.
Oh,
I am overruling you as I've played both your games. So you guys are going to go and I'll chime in when I'm not fucking blurry for some reason.
all right.
And then
Phil?
I'll chime in. Phil, mate, over to you. Thank you very much.
Yes, King. So, listeners, viewers, I've been playing a little game called Pragmata, which I pre-ordered from Argos. It's a UK retail store. And shout out to Ash Dex for the assist on that, because he was very early in messaging me when there was a strange discount on Argos for a pre-order of a game. So it was one of the cheapest places around to pre-order it from. And I did. And it arrived on the 17th of April. On a Friday, if I remember rightly. And so far, I've been able to put in a massive 6 hours, and that's massive for me. And on the app these days, it shows you the progression that you've made, which I think is a new feature to the PlayStation app. And it shows us 45% through. So actually, this game's probably not that long. It's probably a perfect length for me. And something I really do want to finish, because there's something special about this game. You play as a spacefaring gentleman in advanced power armor called Hugh Williams, and he happens upon a child, a female child, called Diana, or DI-03367, and she's a young android with hacking abilities, and they navigate a dystopian moon station combating rogue AI. And as I said, I've done 6 hours, and I've just about got to the third, or just finished the third section of the game, which is the Terror Dome. And this is an environmental area. So the game is kind of split up into like areas of the base that you sort of go around, and each one is very unique. I've been to New York, strangely. The first section of the game is very stock. It is pretty much just the base that you're exploring. The second one, as I said, it takes you to a strange printed era of New York, which is very cool. And then the third area, which I'm in at the moment, is like an environmental place full of trees and sort of beautiful kind of plants and different things around the environment. But very much enjoying this game. And it's interesting because I've never really seen a game like this, in the way that it kind of makes you think about too many things at once. Just like me explaining this. So in the left hand of your brain, you're trying to solve a puzzle. In the right hand side of your brain, you're trying to like move and shoot and avoid. And the further you get through the game, they start stacking things that happen within these areas. So at the start, you've just got a monster sort of moving towards you, and the hack is relatively easy. And on the hack side, there's nothing really to avoid. And on the movement side, the mob you're facing is very simplistic. It just sort of walks towards you. Okay. Once you get past the hacking stage, the monster opens up and exposes the weak points, and then you can kill the monster. That's the basic flow of the game. Okay. But as you get a little bit further, they start adding things in, as I said. So I'm at a point where they're adding obstacles where you need to jump at certain times, as well as avoid these monsters that will do quite random, like, attacks on you. And different monsters obviously have different attacks. You have to learn the attacks from each monster. And then they just send out different kind of waves of these monsters. So you might have a wave of monsters that jump, sort of with a wave of monsters that sort of shoot you from sort of long distance. And you've got to do that while jumping over obstacles. And then on the other side, you're doing the hacking for each one of these monsters. And they'll add things in where there's like a blocker, so you can't go over a certain square. Or if you go over a certain square, it kind of resets Diana, so she has to start again. Or there's a mob in there that once you do a successful hack and you get a great attack off, he will put up a blocker to the hack. And then it's certain weak points on the enemy that you then need to destroy. So it's really, really unique. I've never really seen anything like this, but I'm really, really enjoying it. It's not got to a stage where I feel it's got too hard, but I might be eating my words by next episode, because as I said, I'm only halfway through the game. But I'm really interested to see how far you've got in this one, Spence. Where are you within Pragmata?
So I am also with the Terror Dome, my friend.
There we go.
I am 7 hours in, but a lot of that was spent, I was in work and it was on. And then when I could play, I'd unpause and play, you know? So a lot of it was just paused. So I think I've probably spent about 6 hours, maybe 5.5, same as you. I haven't finished Terror Dome yet. I think I'm about halfway through it. My progression is showing 40%. So you're 5% ahead of me. I like the dynamic of the game, like you said, that combat where you have to focus on the hack in order to get the attack. I think it's cool. I don't know how I'm vibing with Pragmata too much, though, on a whole. I think it's good. I think it's a good game. I don't think it's a must-play so far. But I like the contrast with Diana just not understanding anything. Hugh, for some reason, is the most sincere bloke of all time as well, by the way. He just says the most heartfelt stuff all day. When you know from the lore, he's single, no kids, and just works. And it's like, why is this guy so nice? And everything he says is like quite poetic and stuff to Diana. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, shut up, mate. He's so kind. I'm like, have a day off, bro. He's just, the start of the game as well is quite tragic. So it's like, why is he not upset? So I don't know. Hugh seems like an AI to me, which I think is putting me off. But the gameplay is fun.
He's very idealistic, isn't he, in his responses to Diana? And I think along the way, he's obviously trying to teach her about how a human would respond to certain things that they overcome and encounter within the different areas of the sort of moon base. But I quite like it, but I do get what you mean. It doesn't. He doesn't feel real. It's strange that Diana actually feels more real than him.
Yeah, 100%. There's one like conversation in particular that is like they're talking about how humans gain nutrition from because she's saying it's inefficient that humans have to eat like 3 times a day, which, you know, maybe it is, but we got to poo, we got to eat, it's the way it goes. And Hugh's just like, it's not just having a meal together and it's the nutrition you gain from that social life, from spending with your family, and that's the type of nutrition as well. Humans need that. And then it's like, bro, what are you on about? You don't have a family. You've said this. So I don't know what's going on. He's so sincere and so kind, but at the same time, I don't get it. He's like, in most games, the protagonist is kind of like cool and quite tough and quite rugged.
And flawed, generally.
Yeah, and flawed. Hugh's just a nice bloke, but like too nice, which makes you think there's something wrong about him. You know, he's one of those guys where you're like, you don't mean that, you bellend. So, you know, I'm keen to see where it goes. And I think I already know where the story's going. I've got an idea in my head, but I'm not going to spoil nothing. But it is fun. It's a good game. I wouldn't say it's a must play yet, but we'll see where the story goes.
Well, I'm looking forward to diving into this one. I mean, because you bought it digitally, Spence, I will get this on... Oh, I've already got it on download, but I will get to it as soon as I finish the game that I'm currently playing at the moment. So in terms of where you guys are, you're obviously quite far in, coming up to like the halfway point. Have you got any ratings for what you'd bestow on this game at this point? I know you got another half to go, and things could ramp up, or they could change, or story dynamics could get wild, or whatever it is. But if you had to settle a rating right now, where would you come in on it? And Phil, I'll start with you first.
I think I'd probably hit it like an 8 out of 10. Because
Okay.
it's a game that's better than average, so it's above the 7. And it kind of does a lot of things that I really like. And there's not anything really to sort of moan about with this game. It's something that I am thinking about constantly, and I do want to go back and sort of get this one completed and find out what is, and if there is a twist at the end. And I think for it to move up, if it was going to get into the 9s and 10s, it would have to have that sort of emotional connection. Which I'm not feeling just yet to the game, but I know a lot of people on Twitter, the cesspool which it is, really are feeling because it's overwhelmingly positive over on Twitter for this game. They're screaming out for sequels already for this, and Capcom have come out and said, you know, they're so pleased with the performance of this game, and they're very pleased that it's resonated with the crowd so closely. But I think they were always onto a winner with setting it as a daddy-daughter kind of relationship, because it's somewhat of an opposite to maybe The Last of Us, in the sense that Hugh is very much looking after Diana. In Pragmata, which is opposite to how things happen with Ellie and Joel.
Spence, any thoughts for yourself? I mean, especially in terms of rating and stuff.
The issue with rating it, I want to give it a 7, but I've given better games than it a 7. So I think I'm giving it a 6.5, which is a shame, because I do actually really like this game. But it does kind of just feel like I'm playing like any average game that I would have played on the PS3. You know, like when your mum just gets you a random game, it does kind of just feel like that, at least at the moment. So that's kind of just the vibe I'm getting, and it's so Capcom. It's so blatantly Capcom when I'm playing it. You can just tell. So I don't know. I think I'm giving it a 6.5, but with a lot of room to grow. But I do think it probably is a 7, but I just know there's games I've given a 7 that are better.
Well, I suppose it all depends, doesn't it? You know, if the story comes in and hits home and there's something there that you guys didn't see coming, or like the relationship with Diana and Hugh continues to develop and gets even more deeper than it is now, or the gameplay gets more, gets more and more. Who knows, man? By the time you wrap it up, you could be looking back on it and thinking, Jesus Christ, what a nice experience. It reminds me, and obviously I haven't played the demo or anything yet, but the game strikes me as cut from the same kind of cloth as like Vanquish back in the day on PS3.
The vibe is that, yeah, the aesthetic.
Yeah, that's what it always kind of struck me as when we did see gameplay for the first time. I thought, oh, this looks like a kind of blast from the past. And judging from what you were saying there, maybe it will give like some of those kind of old school kind of vibes. But that sounds definitely like something that's missing a lot from games these days. So those like just a fun experience to play through, and just like a gameplay kind of focused fun adventure with nice people. Definitely does sound like an older style of game to me, but definitely one I'm going to be looking forward to hearing your updated thoughts probably on the next episode. Anything else you guys want to talk about on Pragmata before we move on?
One little thing. I think the music is actually really standout within this game. And it reminds me a lot, and I couldn't put my finger on it for quite a while. And I was on the exercise bike earlier looking at the games that I have up on my shelf. And it's got so many vibes and so many connections to Stellar Blade. And I know you guys haven't played that, so Spence, you probably wouldn't sort of naturally have connected those two games, but if people out there have played those two games, you'll know what I mean. It's just the way the music sort of intros you into each zone and kind of like the combat style. So when you get into combat, obviously the music ramps up in a certain way, and it's just that vibe that it's giving off. So there is something there that's very kind of Asian influenced within it. And I think the sensibilities that come across are very pure. And again, I suppose that's from a sort of an Asian perspective, coming from like a British one, you'd probably want a bit more of a gritty storyline. It's definitely a very Asian game, this one, I think.
Mate, I could not agree with you more. Yeah, I know what you mean. I understand how you mean it's Stellar Blade, but that it is also just any Japanese game. Because it's like FF7 as well. The music's the same kind of thing where it's nice, calm, introduces the area, then you get into a fight and it ramps up and stuff. It is just that Japanese thing. But then the dialogue is so Japanese as well, even though it's obviously in English. So obviously Japanese translated. Clear as day. It is just a mega Japanese game. So yeah, I know what you mean.
Fair enough. Well, I look forward to hearing more thoughts on the next episode, guys. And hopefully you guys will have wrapped it and you can let me know your final kind of verdicts. But, Spence, there's a game that I got for both of us. I got for your birthday, and I've been playing for a few hours today, even though it came yesterday, I wasn't home. And that is Saros. So, Spence, I'm going to throw it over to you first. I want to know kind of how far have you gotten, and kind of your initial kind of thoughts, I suppose.
Sure, okay. So, Saros is a fast-paced cinematic action game with exhilarating moment-to-moment gameplay, climactic boss fights, and a mysterious and moving story, all the hallmarks of the industry veterans, which are Housemarque. It also scored an 88% on the Metacritic.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck is going on, man? What is going on? It's like a clone of Phil here, man. It's this new Spence, man. I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong. You fucking do you, bro. It works for giving a description of the game, but Jesus Christ.
Well, I'll also give my opinion, and it's going to be still a bunch of Spence.
All right,
I cannot wait till you do a Davey impression. Because I'm going to strap myself in for the next like half an hour where you just go through a really big monologue. And at the end, there's kind of nothing for us to say because he said everything. So I want to hear that next from you.
It's coming, bro.
Okay, let's do it.
It's coming, mate.
It's going to happen to me right now when he's talking about Saros, I bet.
Yeah, who knows?
Do it. Give him some payback.
Who knows? But I didn't look up any information for Pragmata because I knew me and Phil would both talk about it and thought, Phil will have the notes. So that's fine. See, look, not taking everything. But Saros, Pragmata is on the back shelf, I'll tell you what. Zaros is fantastic so far. My time on PlayStation says 1 hour. I know I'm over an hour because I played it on my lunch day, which was an hour. And then when I finished, I played it for maybe another 50 minutes, 45 minutes. So about 2 hours of gameplay. I've finished. Oh, should I say where I am?
Yeah, I don't see why not. As long as you keep it like
I won't spoil.
more,
I won't spoil
more into
nothing.
like biomes or how many bosses or something like that. You know?
Yeah. Okay, so I've beaten the first 2 bosses.
Okay.
I'm at the start of the 3rd biome. I haven't actually started it yet. But that's where I am. I've died once so far, and I was at the start of the 2nd biome because my health didn't reset. I don't think your health doesn't reset. So I just had not much health after the first boss fight and just died, which sucked. But then I first tried the first boss and first tried the 2nd boss.
Wow.
And it's very, very fun. So far, this game is what I wanted. It's Returnal 2. But there are things about it which are a bit like, it's messier than Returnal, if you know what I mean. So much messier because there's different types of projectiles. So the blue ones you block with your shield and they power up your kind of ultimate attack. And there's 3 types of fire now as well. So in Returnal, you had normal fire and then your alt fire, which was like that charged up. Now you have normal fire, alt fire, and a full press, which is like your ability. Crazy stuff they've done. And the alt fires are really clever. Now they work. But it's great so far. You have to shield the blue projectiles, dodge the red ones. You can't go through them though. You have to completely avoid them. And you have to just dodge, or you can go through the corrupted projectiles, which are the yellow ones. I think this game's great. It knocked my concerns away immediately because my worry was that the shield's going to be too broken. It's going to be easy. The shield is so useful for specific times, not all the time. And it slows your movement down loads, so you can't keep it up. And it drains your bar unless you get your abilities on the ability tree all the way up. I'm miles up that ability tree as well, which I can't believe. Absolutely flying up it. I'm hoping it's a lot bigger because I'm almost done, I feel like. But I love it, mate. It's how smart. And it's beautiful as well. Really beautiful game.
I've got to echo a lot of those thoughts, to be fair. It's definitely built on the same... It's the exact same bloodline as Returnal. You could see the DNA is so closely mirroring it, and that's perfect. Because, I mean, what a fucking fantastic base to build from, and build from it they have. Because what they've done is they've stripped out a lot of the stuff that made Returnal quite hard to understand in certain aspects. They've kind of stripped a lot of that back and made it quite easy on the surface. But then actually understanding the game, I've been doing a lot of reading into all the menus, into understanding. When you go into your stats menu by pressing the touchpad, on there you get 3 numbers that are shown. I can't remember what they are now. It's like resilience, boost, and something else. Power and something else. It's resilience, power, and something. Right? I can't remember what they are.
I can't remember the 3rd one. I know what they are, but I don't know what the words are.
And what they do is they tie into either like how much weapon damage you can deal, how much power bar you have, or like how much your progress bar increases. So much like on Returnal, if you're on a great run, you would come in and start from like level 1, and you might clear a biome and then be like level 20 at the end. And the difference of that progression means that you find better gear. So the weapon you might find at level 5 might be just like quite an average gun, but by level 20, you're getting a lot better stuff. You're getting things that have a lot more to it. And just like Returnal, they've carried over the ability to have... in Returnal, it was like a parasite that gave you either a plus or a minus thing. Well, on this, they brought that straight over, which I was really happy with. So the runs I've had have been quite varied, because I did the first biome first try, didn't die at all. Second biome took me 3 attempts to do it. I did it on the 3rd attempt, yeah. So the first attempt, much like you, just died immediately, like didn't have enough health to be able to do it. Second attempt through then, I found this a lot about the game. I found that because of the experience I got with Returnal. I picked it up really quickly, and I'm doing quite well.
Me too, yeah.
The second you switch your fucking brain off, you get melted. Like, every attack does so much damage. And I was just running through the second biome and being like, oh my god, this is really... I'm blasting this. And brain just wasn't there, and I took a load of projectiles and went down. And I was like, fuck. Came back for my second life, and I was like, okay, that's fine. It's fine. I'll be able to do the boss on one life. Died in that boss, and then on the third attempt was when I just did it, and it was fine. But I found it to be really quite varied. Going in and seeing the same environment 3 times is surprising how much it can change, which was really, really great. And I'm vibing with it. One thing to let the audience know: the jump tech does not exist in this game.
I know. I tried it immediately, bro.
And me, dude. Straight
it's like
on
it kind of works, and then you just stop. Yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck.
They patched that out. So it's definitely not there. But I completely agree with what you're saying with the shield. The shield was something that I didn't really worry, because I trust Housemarque, right? Like, they're the studio for gameplay out of all PlayStation, for sure. But I was thinking, I wonder if this is going to feel, a bit OTT. But there's a fucking delay with pulling that shield up.
Yeah, big delay.
And that's caught me so many times where I've been like, oh, time to shield, and then I get hit by it as the first projectile kind of seeps in before the shield's up. So you've got to really think about it a lot more than you would otherwise. But it feels to me, and maybe it's just and this is because I'm learning the game now, and by the end it will feel different, but with Returnal, and I suppose I had a power whip, so I was zipping about everywhere in Returnal, which looks like that's going to be in this game, because I've seen so many things I can't access at the moment.
I've been waiting to find it.
Yeah. It feels like I'm having to be a lot more mobile than I was in Returnal. I felt like I was moving a lot in Returnal, but here I feel like I'm having to jump over shit all the time and having to really just be conscious of things around me a little bit more than I was in Returnal. But it could be because, like, the melee's been toned down quite a bit. There's been a couple of changes they've made to the formula to really spruce it up. And the big difference here compared to Returnal, the biggest one, is there's an actual fucking story going on. An actual story. And I'm vibing with it. I've been picking up all the text documents I can, all the voice notes. I really want to kind of understand what's happening here. And it looks like a game that will actually give those answers. But my PlayStation time's telling me 3 hours that I've spent in it, so quite considerably more, which would make sense if I had another run in a bit of the second biome than you did.
Yeah, but I think it's fantastic so far. I'm just really keen to just play more.
Yeah, it's just super addictive. It's super addictive, and the worries there about difficulty that a lot of the community were kind of raising beforehand. I think it's now after the first 2 bosses, from what I understand, that you can then put modifiers to be able to change your kind of difficulty.
You can, yeah.
So up until this point, I wouldn't have thought it would be too much of a struggle for anyone to get past this, but you would have to actually have hands. You couldn't just go through this and just be a fucking idiot, because you will get slaughtered. But I wouldn't have thought it's a big barrier to entry to get past boss 2, but it will challenge you if you don't know this genre.
I would argue, I think this game's harder than Returnal, but I think the areas aren't harder, the boss fights are. Because when I killed that first boss in this game, all I thought about was the first boss in Returnal. I just thought, Frike, and I thought Frike really isn't that bad.
No.
Like, as soon as you know his attacks, it's fine. Whereas even if you know the attacks on this first boss, they're massive.
Yeah, they go on for ages, don't they?
Yeah, you got to proper just keep dodging. So, I don't know. I think this game's hard. But I completely agree with you where you can't stop moving. All the parasites, they're not parasites in this, there's something else, but they essentially are parasites.
Augments, aren't they?
Augments, yeah. Every single one I pick up that is negative is basically, I only pick up the ones that say you do less damage when you're stationary. And it's because I never am. I'm always running.
Mate, my last one, I had a massive list on the last run. I had a massive list of negatives. I was taking full damage. I had full damage on. I had that I'd lose your currency when I got hit.
I had that one as well.
I had that on twice. I had all these different things, but it meant that the other abilities that I had were pretty broken, so I was getting my power really, really quickly, things like that, you know. So it's that trade-off, isn't it, all the time? But there were certain ones I saw. There was one where it was like increases the time before you can use your next dash, and I was like, no, that's fucking suicide.
I've not picked one of them up
That's
at all.
suicide. Yeah, like picking that up, you're on an absolute death sentence. But I don't know if you're comfortable rating this yet. I don't think I am. I think I need more hours in to be able to give a proper accurate rating. But if you feel comfortable, then you go for it, my dude.
Yeah. No, I won't. I know what it'll be though, but I won't say it yet.
Yeah. If it carries on like it is, and you know it's only going to ramp, you know, like
Yeah, I know exactly what it is because it already is that.
Yeah, I think about that moment in Returnal where I knew it was super special was when you fight I think it's the Act
Oh, the
4
piano
biome,
chapter
piano
4.
guy, yeah. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this game's going to stay with me forever, right? Like, I'm waiting for that kind of moment, and I've got a feeling it's coming. You know,
man.
like I can feel it just building, and the last boss was so like multifaceted that I can't wait to see what they're doing and where this is going. And you're right, the skill tree at the moment, it's blocked at the moment at the end of the skill tree by defeating, I think, the enemy we just beated.
Yeah.
So the prophet or something, it says, is blocked by that. So my entire skill tree's done up until that. So as soon as that finishes, then it will unlock a lot more.
You can do that. The prophet's the first boss.
No, it's definitely not, because it wasn't there for me. I couldn't get past that bit.
Oh, I'm past it.
So you've done the first lot and the next bit after that, and there's a block there on mine.
I've done the first block. The boss one is the prophet.
I've done everything I can, and there's a blocker there, which has been there ever since I was in the second biome. But I'll let you all know anyway on the next episode, kind of where we got to.
Yeah.
I imagine we'll probably be done.
Yeah,
because just want to play it. Just want to play it. But that is it. And Phil, I'm going to throw it over to you, just because I know you didn't get on well with Returnal. It wasn't really your cup of tea. But is there anything about Saros that does speak to you, or is it too cut from the same type of cloth as Returnal that it just doesn't appeal to you at all?
Well, I have to be honest, you know, like a lot of people on Twitter that I've been reading, that's really my only sort of feedback when it comes to Saros, is that a lot of people are saying it is way easier than Returnal. So maybe it is something that could potentially be for me. But currently there's just too many things that I'm playing at the moment to be able to want to hit my head against the wall and play one of these styles of games. Now, I was looking, I think I linked you to this article where people were saying that Saros is about a 20 to 25 hour completion, where Returnal was more like 50 to 100 because of the sort of RNG that was included within Returnal. But what I'm interested to ask you guys, is that RNG returned at all within Saros? Do they have those elements? Or is that something they've just phased out because of all the negative feedback they had for Returnal on that sort of a gameplay element?
You could take this first if you want, Spence.
Yeah, sure. I don't think that RNG element's in it yet. If it is in it, I am yet to see it. I know there are certain things I can't get yet, and that's because I don't have the abilities to do so. But I've not seen. Oh, the issue is as well, I've only done one run of each biome, so I don't know how it changes. So I'm too uninformed to really be able to answer you. But from what I'm getting so far, I don't think so, because a lot of the collectibles are in the main hub where you actually communicate with your team, which is weird, by the way. I don't like a main hub really, so that's 1 point knockdown, I suppose, but it doesn't affect it that much. It's fine. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't think so.
There definitely is. There definitely is. Yeah, there definitely is. Yeah, it's each biome. The general kind of layout through that stays the same, but much like Returnal, the rooms change. So you go back in, you get different areas, you get different enemies and things like that. And for what I've seen, I've found voice notes that have been in places that weren't there on my first run through. I think the difference here is that the platinum doesn't have you don't have to collect all those things for the platinum. I think is kind of the big difference here. Whereas Returnal was the case you had to. Now I haven't really looked through and really studied the platinum at all.
No, have I.
But from the trophies that have been popping up so far, they seem more tied to abilities rather than like collecting things. So I wouldn't, like, I didn't get a trophy for finding all the holocons, which one of the things you can find, which like upgrade points for your armor and stuff. I didn't get a trophy for finding all those on the first biome, which I did. So I imagine there isn't, but I can't speak entirely. All I do know is there is definitely, each run feels different from the last. But the actual layout through, the kind of general pathing you take stays consistent. It's the rooms within those and the enemies that spawn that do add that bit of variety every single time.
Fair enough. Well, that's really interesting. So it's a much more, I suppose, accessible Returnal in a way, because the platinum isn't so difficult, I suppose, to sort of get that 100%. And maybe that's what's going to attract a lot more people to sort of try this. But another thing that seems to irk a lot of people on Twitter, and I really want to get your guys' point of view on this, and you haven't really played a lot of the game, so maybe we might leave this question, or maybe leave the answer to next week when we do the podcast, or in 2 weeks' time, is the story. Some people are going crazy about this story on Twitter. Now, I don't know how far you guys have got with it. Is there anything that is sort of coming up that you're sort of raising an eyebrow about with this story?
For me, there's questions that I want answered.
Because I don't want to give it away, because I've read a fair bit about it.
No, yeah.
Okay.
There's questions that I want answered, but nothing that's making me feel like on a negative or anything like that. It's more so like I just want to know what is the deal. Like there's different periods of time that are passing, depending on if the person's on a run or not. I want to kind of know what that's all about. I want to know how Arjun's able to kind of interact with some of the tech that's on there that he doesn't have. I want to know. There's been hints from speaking to some of the other characters about like his backstory, and I want to kind of get a bit more on that. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff, and a lot of the kind of nuance, I suppose, is told in like the text documents. Like I've been finding some on the other parts of the crew, and you learn that some of them have like superiority complexes and things like that, and then you can start to kind of piece together what they're actually like and what their kind of issues are. But there's something at the moment that's driving people mental, which they think is the eclipse that happens. Don't know much more than that at this stage. Don't know much more than that. I don't know if you got anything more to add to that, Spence.
The story so far, it works for me. I like the story a lot because it's a lot more clear than Returnal. Because Returnal's story,
didn't you read the comic book,
mate? No.
People know the story then.
I also didn't watch any videos on it, which there are countless, because no one really knows what happened in Returnal. It's crazy, but this has much more of a clear-cut story. All I know about it really is the company that we're all working for that sent us to this place. That company is a dick company, bro. The amount of notes where they're like, we need to mine everything, die doing it. It's like, bro,
crew are fully expendable, aren't they? The mining operation.
It's like, shitting hell, mate. And to be fair, all of them, it's like proper, everyone will die for this company. Everyone will give their life for this company, and everyone... I bleed this company is literally in one of the notes. It's evil, mate.
The robot kind of helper that you have is a dick as well.
Oh, the primary.
Like, yeah, he's like the voice of the company, and he's just an absolute dickhead.
Yeah, so he's like GLaDOS kind of.
Yeah, he's just a dick. So it's so that's all quite interesting. Kind of all like Alien-esque, I suppose, with like Wayland Yutani, you know, those kind of vibes. But
yeah, I'm keen to see where it goes. I'm keen to learn more about Arjun. I'm keen to learn more about his team, because all of them seem quite dynamic. All of them seem... And what's his name? The Asian fella. Stetch or Stitch?
Yeah, Stack, innit?
Oh, Stack maybe. He's weird, man. I really want to know what's going on with him. You'll go up to him and be like, hey, everything all right? And he'll be like, the colours, man. And you're like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, the colours are raining. You're like, what the hell is wrong with you?
I see yellow.
Like, I see yellow. He's like, yesterday's gone. Just think about tomorrow. And he's like, you'll all learn tomorrow. And it's like, what?
I know, it's like, okay.
And then Arjun's just like, yeah, all right. And walks off. And you're like, fucking hell. So I need to know what's going on, man. I'm really curious, and I can't wait to just play more. It's so good. But the story is quite gripping as well, which I didn't expect. I didn't think I'd care about the story, so I'm happy with it.
So is that the opposite from what people are saying on Twitter then, Phil? They're on a meltdown over it?
There's just a lot of woke nonsense apparently in this game that really irks a lot of people. So yeah, just interested to know when that comes up and if that is a red flag for you guys. I know we've played games in the past where there has been that kind of stuff in the game where it's never really bothered us before.
No,
people are saying it's quite egregious in certain parts of this game, but interested to see if you guys care. Probably not, really.
Yeah, probably not.
I wouldn't care, but I haven't noticed any.
No, I haven't noticed anything that's, even being, other than just this company are, ruthless bastards, but that's most of science fiction,
Yeah,
it pretty much is, yeah.
Yeah. So it's
So it's
nothing.
those evil guys running a company.
Yeah, so unless people are reading into that and thinking that's some woke thing, where actually that's just a science fiction
It's not that.
hallmark.
Trope. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll let you know. At the moment, I haven't seen anything that's even given me a remote like, oh, that's that's been chucked in from a DNI perspective or whatever. Nothing at all. But as Spence said, even if there was, highly doubt it would bother me. I can't remember the last time I ever got bothered by anything woke, like ever in my life. So who knows? I'll let you know when we get there, Phil. When we get there.
Cool.
Audience, have you played either Pragmata or Saros? If you have, let us know what you think about them. Write into the email, hit us up on the Discord, join the conversation in the YouTube comments, whatever the case is, hit us up, let us know what you're thinking about the games. And with that, we shall move it in to the quick news. Quick news.
Quick news, listeners and viewers. Welcome to the quick news, which arguably is the best part of the goddamn show, because we've gone out and scoured the PlayStation Nation for the latest and greatest news articles to perform to you, to deliver to you in the form of words. But this time round, because Spencer is our king, we've got a kind of a stipulation which really is kind of a negative stipulation, and I'm going to hand over to the king, and he's going to don his hat to explain why we're calling this quick news this time. What are we doing different, King?
So what we're doing is, rather than having fun, because it's not fun news, it's quick news, and this is what I've been saying. Rather than having a bit of fun and all laughing at my expense, because I'm never good at any of the impressions or the accents or whatever else we've done for quick news.
You did great, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I don't even remember that. And I don't need to get shirtless on my bed. That's done. That's in the past. We can leave all that behind us. Quick news. Make it quick again, baby. How it should be. Because it's the longest part of the show. It's called quick news. Oh,
ironic, isn't it?
It is ironic.
It's done.
Do you remember when we actually did quick news and it was quick and it was the shittest part? We had lasted for about 5 episodes and it was boring as piss. It was literally just a case of reading out what the headline was, quick snapshot view from each of us, move on. It was like 10 minutes long instead of being like an hour and 20.
Bring it back.
We listened back to it and we were like, this is just shit. It's just 40 minutes of us talking about a random question, an update on what we've been playing, 10 minutes of news, and then a topic. And the show was shit. So we've improved it. And this king is gradually taking away what makes our show great again. We should get our own caps made. Make quick news long again.
Long again. But it makes our show somewhat unique, I think, because I've listened to quite a few other PlayStation podcasts, and they do that. They continue to do that. They just read out the news, they say a few things, and then they just move straight on. There's no conversation. So hopefully this time round, we'll have some things to say. And Davey's wrote the doc again, and what I'm going to say is, it's not such a downer today, guys. There's some positivity here. So look forward to our delivery, because we're very much going to try and put a positive spin on everything. Yeah, today. I think it's all going to be positive. Yeah. But Davey, I think I want to start with yourself this time round. Do you want to kick us off with your quick news?
Of course.
And it's got to be quick, because we're making it quick again.
Yeah, we are. And audience, remember, there's a vote on the line. So anyone that you feel, really, there's no rule to this.
There is a rule. It's the game. You have to vote for whoever's the least enthusiastic and just the least well-performed host for quick news.
Okay, so there you go. So
vote for Davey.
vote for me. I like to drink. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. I'm hoping that by siding with them, much like when a kid gets bullied, whatever, and you say, right, well, if you go along and you act like you enjoy being bullied, then the bully will stop. The same way that if a kid's getting beaten up and all of a sudden he's on the floor and he goes, oh, he's getting kicked, the bully's going to stop. Bully will be like, yo, what the fuck? He likes this. We got to find some other nerd. So, much like that, and going along that line here, vote for me. I'd really love a drink. Quick news. The first thing here, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 reveal is being prepared, says Square Enix. Now, I've got this from pushsquare.com. Now, basically, just to give you a bit of background here, because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming across the Switch 2 and all different platforms at the moment, they're doing the developers are out in force doing a lot of promo for it. And naturally, the question would be, when's Part 3 coming up? When are we going to see Part 3? What's happening? Well, Naoki Hamaguchi, who's the developer and the director, of the project, has come out and said that we know many fans are eagerly waiting and preparations towards the announcement are steadily underway. Please look forward to it just a little while longer. Now, from Push Square, they said the quote came after he said development of the third game is proceeding on time and on schedule, and fans should be confident it's a strong end to the trilogy. Now, other things have come out with this, saying that he's played through the game now, start to end, 40 separate times to be able to make sure that it's all up to snuff. So, confidence on my side is saying that we will be seeing this soon. So the first question for you guys, it's a two-parter question here, is one, are you interested in seeing the final installment of Final Fantasy VII? I think I know the answer already. Secondly, when do you reckon we're seeing it? Phil, going to kick off with you first.
Well, as you know, I've got a storied history when it comes to Final Fantasy. I once said I might play Tactics and never did. I think I own a few Final Fantasies on the original PlayStation, but I may have acquired those when I was buying kind of job lots of video games back in the day. So it's not something that I've ever really spent any time in, unfortunately. The most connection I have is listening to your monologues about them, Davey, when you take us through the journey that you've been experiencing with Final Fantasy, and the length of those monologues generally probably the same length as the games. So I've done quite well, and I've stuck with it. If anything, I've got a real-life trophy, haven't I, for listening to all those monologues about Final Fantasy. But from what I'm hearing on Twitter, because that's where I get all of my information outside the Wikipedia introductions that I generally give when talking about games, or the Metacritic scores from the Metacritic website, Twitter is saying that the main thing they want with this game is just less mini-games. Now, I know that was a big complaint for yourself, Davey, because they just bloated the first two, I believe, games that you've taken us through, and we very much enjoyed them, don't get me wrong, with mini games. So let's just hope maybe this one doesn't have so much of that element within it. Fingers crossed. I'm crossing my fingers for you. Time of year that we're gonna see something like this, it's probably got to be Summer Games Fest, hasn't it? That's the next big one, really. That's the most obvious choice. And then if not, I guess just at the end of the year with Jeff's other show.
I fully agree with you, bro. I reckon it's going to be Summer Game Fest. I reckon this is the big thing for Summer Game Fest that's going to be shown. And it only needs to be a small trailer, right? And then, you get into the next State of Play or anything like that. Showcase, God help us,
Game
imagine.
Awards, probably. And then the big one, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Because, PlayStation have been the marketing guys for this the entire time, right? For the previous two ones, it's come exclusively to the platform and then been separated out from there. So I imagine that will continue with a third entry. I can see this just getting the pop, the big initial opening thing at Summer Game Fest, and then we just see it drip fed, just like we did with the last one, into kind of every single Sony State of Play or big end of year Game Awards events, things like that. But I completely agree with you. I think it's going to be a kind of a June kind of initial reveal. Makes a lot of sense to me. Spence, over to you for your kind of thoughts here.
I'm not getting this game initially, just to say. Mostly because I would have loved this game. But I can't play it without playing 2. And I'm not fucking playing 2. So we said this ages ago, shot themselves in the foot, because Remake, number 2 is bloated to fuck with everything they ever thought ever. Every idea that was pitched was put in that game. Not one thing was cut. No chance am I playing that. I don't have the time, the patience, or just I can't be asked. Remake, the first one, Intergrade, brilliant. There was some mini games in there, sure, but not that much. It was fine. It was mostly story, and it was fantastic. I loved it. They fucked it now. Fucked it. There's no way I'm playing this. I don't care how good it looks. If I was going to play FF7 now, it would be the original, and I've been saying this for ages that I was going to play it. I still haven't. So who knows if I even will. But am I playing this one? Diddly fuck. When do I think we'll see it? I think we will see it at Summer Games Fest. Same as you boys. And I think we'll get probably April, maybe a bit after April next year release.
Sounds right.
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
Yeah, that sounds really good. So, audience, for those of you who've joined over the last 10 or so episodes, you wouldn't know this, but I'm a massive Final Fantasy VII fan. Huge Final Fantasy VII fan. It was the first RPG I ever really played outside of Pokemon, and I loved it. It's been Final Fantasy VII's been one of my favorite games for forever, right? Up there. Only beaten on the PlayStation 1 generation by Metal Gear Solid. I absolutely fucking adore it. Remake trilogy so far is a fucking disappointment. It really is. Like, integrating stuff, it was cool, bloated. Really bloated, just took too long. The Midgard's not even the biggest section of the game, and it took forever to get there, and I thought, okay, and then they ruin it with the ending of that game where it goes all
bad.
Kingdom Hearts. It's bullshit, right? They take it into this multiverse strategy, and it's fucking awful. Rebirth, I went in, I thought, right, good thing is, we're going to my favourite area in pretty much all of gaming, apart from yeah, mate, Cosmo fucking Canyon. We're going to Cosmo Canyon. It's going to be a great fucking deal. Apart from Shadow Moses, my second favourite place, right? And the game is, like Phil said, it's completely fucking bloated with mini games all the goddamn time, which took so much charm out of going back to these locations. Having to go and find little fucking, what are those things that you stand on?
The segways.
Segways, mate. Having to go and find 12 segways around the map for no reason. It's just something you have to do, and then you could take part in segway racing after if you wanted to. Like, why would I want to do this? Oh, I've got to go and play a fucking knockoff version of what's that fucking game with the cars where you hit the ball? Oh my god.
Rocket League?
Rocket League. A knockoff version of Rocket League, but with Red 13 and other animals playing. Brilliant. Let's do that. And it's just constant all the fucking time, and it's so boring. And the only glimmer of light in that entire game, apart from the story, which is better than the first one, but still fucking fucks it on all the important parts that make Final Fantasy VII, is Queen's Blood. Queen's Blood, the little
that's
card
for real
game.
men, isn't it? Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one's for real men. That's what
Real
makes
men.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth great. It's fantastic.
Not
that
Monster Train.
No,
It doesn't make
definitely
it
not.
great. It's not. It doesn't save it.
It does.
It
was the only
doesn't,
thing,
mate.
It's the only thing that got me through it, was looking for more card battles.
Yeah, but you
Honest-
still had a bad time.
I did have a terrible time, yeah. I'm very much the outlier here from everyone else. Everyone else seems to love it. It was up, I remember at the time it was in for a lot of people's Game of the Year awards and stuff. It didn't even make my top 5. Like, not even fucking close. I didn't even give it like a mercy prop at number 5. It was just bad. And the worst thing is, I can't stop here. I have to fucking finish it, because I've done 2 of them now. So if I can get through fucking some of the shit games that I've played over my time, like, what's that game that you were slamming that's just left the service, Spence? That pick your own adventure thing with that fat ginger bird?
Oh, Bloom and Rage, Lost Records.
If I can get through that and wait for a part 2 and get through the end of that, I can get through Final Fantasy VII Part 3, right? I can do it. So I'm going to do it, and I'm just praying to God. My expectations are so low that it doesn't have to do much to be able to make it really good for me. So I'm hoping that I'm going to come out of playing this whenever it's shown, get it day 1, and come out and be like, lads, they've pulled it off. They brought it all back. It's fucking great, blah, 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 blah. History's telling me that I'm not going to be overly happy with this, but I'm too deep in now to turn back. And audience, you might be sitting there spitting feathers, putting the vote on me straight away for that opinion, but it's just the way it is. I'm an old school Final Fantasy fan, And Final Fantasy VII's fucking really special, and they just bloated it for no fucking reason.
I will say you should be in luck because there's no way the third one's as bloated. If this guy's beaten it 40 times, it just can't be that long. I reckon it'll be like remake length. There's no way it's if it's 100 hours, like Rebirth is like 140, right? 120.
Yeah.
If it's 100 hours, then that guy has spent 166 days playing this game. There's no way it's that long.
That'd be wild. I mean, there's a lot more to happen in the story. There's a lot more to go.
Well, let's hope that's all the game is.
I hope so, mate. I hope so.
I'd play it if it was.
I mean, it'd be great. But my advice to anyone who's on the fence about starting these, I've said it before, I'll say it again, just go and play the original. Holds up. It's fucking fantastic. And especially now if you get it on PS5 or something, you get all built-in things like where you can play it in double speed. So you can move around the map really quick, battle timing goes faster, things like that. Just little quality of life moments that speed up your playthrough and don't take anything away from it. So just do that. Save yourself the faff and play a classic. No, I really just can't see a reason. But that's the only negative bit of news in today. We got some good shit after that. Spence, gonna come over to you next. What's your piece of quick news?
All right, so ladies, gentlemen, listeners, Vietnam, as always, I am bringing you the monthly games for PlayStation Plus. It's weird that we do this every 2 weeks, yet I'm somehow always bringing monthly games. But here we are again. So the monthly games for the month of May, this is for all 3 tiers of membership, because this is just the trio of games we get, are as follows. They're all available on May 5th. So you have EA Sports FC 26 for PS5, PS4. You have Wu Chang Fallen Feathers for the PS5. You have 9 Souls, PS5, PS4. And those are your free games. You also have the April monthly games. It is your last chance to get them until May 4th, which I think, to be honest, by the time this episode's out, they'll be gone. So I don't know why I'm telling you this.
But for us it helps. If we hadn't redeemed them ourselves, then this would be a warning call for us, right?
Yeah, I'm warning you now. However, they're already gone. So if you've missed them, it is what it is. Apologies, listeners. I couldn't tell you sooner. Could tweet it out. It's fine. If you missed them, you didn't want them anyway. But EA Sports FC, Wu Chang, and 9 Souls. What do you boys think about these 3 little games? Or I suppose quite big games, really. Phil, mate, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts on these 3 games? Well, let me tell you. I did my research, as I always do. We've looked at the Metacritic score, so let me give you those first, and I'll give you a quick synopsis of each game, because 2 of those games on there I've never heard of, so I had to do a bit of research to actually understand what even were these games, because I've never heard of FIFA before. You know, like what is that? But apparently it's a football sim, okay? And this is the teams from the year 2026, and that got a Metacritic score of 77%. Okay, so in terms of FIFA games, it's average. It's average, but it has the newer players. So hey, if you want to play football, you want to play as Mo Salah, get involved because it's free within your monthly games for May. The other games on the list was Wu Chang. So that was 74%. Okay, the Fallen Feathers. It's a dark fantasy action RPG set in the late Ming dynasty of China. It's combined Souls-like combat, grotesque monsters, and Chinese folklore-inspired world building. Okay, and then we've got 9 Souls, it's 84% on Metacritic, and it is a stylish 2D action platformer with Sekiro-inspired parry combat. Okay, it's got a dark sci-fi story rooted in ancient Chinese mythology. Ooh. So again, we've kind of got 2 Souls-like games here. We've got a 2D game, and then we've got an action RPG inspired both from the Asian sort of area of influence as well, which I find quite confusing. There was a lot of positivity out there for these games. Now, as I said, I don't know them, so maybe you've got more affinity to these games, but these ones unfortunately do pass me by. I think if I was going to try one, it would probably be the 2D action platformer rather than the Fallen Feathers or the EA Sports FIFA game. That would be my pick.
That's fair enough, brother. Fair enough, Davey, mate. How about you? Which one of these is floating your boat?
There's 2 on here for me. because Nine Souls, I remember being, when I was going through my Hollow Knight Silk Song Platinum run, all I was seeing at the time were people making comparisons between like which is better in terms of like which looks better and which plays better and how it feels between that and Nine Souls, right? That people were going mental about it online, kind of comparing the two, and they're kind of apples and oranges in a way, but I suppose it's kind of the art style which kind of, and the difficulty which kind of brings them together, right, and kind of marriages them. I've been looking at this for a little while, but don't have the time for it right now. Definitely adding it to the catalogue. Definitely one I'm going to play, and not one for the portal. This is going to be one that I want to put some time into and check out. It's just a case of when rather than if for me. So that's definitely the highlight. The one I will play before then, for sure, is EA Sports FC26.
Yeah,
because it was fun as hell to have a little kick around and to have a mess around on it. If we didn't have Marathon, that was taking up all our time when we played together, I'd definitely be playing this. We were in some Real Madrid versus Newport again, Spence. Seeing how it translates to FC26 on their new stats, dude. What are you not interested in this at all? Because I am fucking so keen for a bit more FIFA. It's fun as hell.
It's crazy. What my bit is, out of these 3 games, the one that I'm going to play is EA Sports FC 26.
Yeah, there we go.
Genuinely what I was going to say. Just because, yeah, mate, it was such a laugh. I loved playing FIFA with you. We had a great little bit of time. Even obviously, we're not like good or sweaty or care. And then obviously, if all 3 of us play it, we could go online and all be on the same team. And be like, yo, Phil, pass. Stop hogging the ball, man. And then pass it along and, maybe we'll be offside, maybe we'll score. Who knows? If we know what offside means. Do you know what offside means, Davey?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Good lad.
I know that one.
We'll take your word for it. We won't get you to explain it.
Thank you very much. But no, I do understand
Wouldn't know
that
if he was
rule.
right.
Putting it into practice, though, very tricky when I want to be right up by the goal line,
Yeah.
All the time. And that last defender's over in my goal. But I'm all the way talking to the goalkeeper, just waiting for the long lob.
That's crazy. But yeah, I think FIFA's the one. Out of these games, I am interested in Wu Chang and Nine Souls. Nine Souls is definitely the one, because 84% is fantastic. But I've not even played Hollow Knight or Silk Song, and I imagine they would be better than this. But I know there is a debate about it, as Davey mentioned. Wu Chang would just be a bit of fun on the portal, I think. But will I play it? Probably not. Just probably not. I'll be honest. I'm probably not going to play these games. But if I was going to play one of them, it would be FIFA, and that's just a sad truth. So there it is.
I think we should stop making empty promises. Maybe we need to, set a little bit of a rule that if we say we're going to play a game, we actually have to by the next episode, because we do this a lot. I've listened back to our episodes and we're like, yeah, I might spend some time in this one. We don't. We're just barefaced lying. We're not going to play these games.
The thing is, it comes back much later. You think how long it took you to play Dave the Diver after that being in the service for a long time, and you said, I'm going to play this one day. You weren't lying. You did play it one day,
I
right?
did,
like you did.
Yeah.
So, and there's been loads of times. I mean, like Killer
Stray?
Frequency, Stray. Like, there's been titles that have come up in the service that then we've just got to much later, and it's out of the conversation. But we haven't lied, right? Like, I'm definitely gonna end up playing Nine Souls one day. I got the rest of my life. I got the rest of my life to do it.
I did download Monster Train, by the way.
Never.
Oh,
So potentially, you never know. I might actually play that game. See
your
what it's all
hype
about. See what the hype's about. See what
Yeah.
the real men are playing over on the Monster Train.
yeah. Let me know if your hymen grows back, because that's the kind of thing that will happen for sure. But
Awful,
there we go.
boys.
Moving on.
Awful. There we go. So yeah, but anyway, I think it's actually, as much as we're not actually going to play any of these games, I think it's a pretty good month. So I can't complain. It's definitely a month for someone, and a lot of people, I think, very varied. Nine Souls and Wu Chang, kind of same genre, or not genre, same type of player base, I would say. But then you got football in there. Come on, who doesn't love a bit of football? 2/3 of this podcast, I suppose. But yeah, moving on. So I believe, Phil, it's now round to yourself. Give us your bit of news, brother.
It is quick news, and I've arguably got the largest piece of news here, because this is something that again, on Twitter, I've seen the most outrage about, because people don't read the details. So maybe I can give you a little bit more detail on this one if you have been one of those rage heads over on Twitter. Now, PlayStation, they announced that any game purchased directly after the March system update will reportedly now require an internet connection once every 30 days to validate the license. So if the console stays off longer than that, the games will not launch until you reconnect. And of course, people went fucking crazy over this. But let me tell you, the headline panic was way bigger than the actual confirmed policy, because if you actually start to read some of the details about this, it probably isn't so bad. Now, Sony has come out and they've confirmed that it is a one-time license validation for digital purchases, which ultimately isn't that bad because they're digital purchases. You would expect someone to have the internet. Now, guys, what I want to know is this something that caught you guys? Because you are becoming more of a digital purchasers, aren't you, Davey? You specifically, you seem to be buying more digital these days. Would something like this put you off now, potentially buying digital games in the future?
So I looked when this was all breaking, right? And this was breaking news because like a couple of people like Will It Play and things like that did testing and looked at it and said that there was this DRM check, right? Now, DRM obviously is the most dirtiest word in the world because it's very tied synonymously to like the Xbox One launch and things like that, right? Like all that stuff. When I thought about it logically and thought, right, if I'm buying a digital game, I have internet. What's the fucking problem here? Like, am I ever going to go 30 days without internet? Probably not. For me personally, wouldn't make a fucking blind bit of difference, right? It really wouldn't. The odds of me being without internet for 30 days, very, very low, right? Like maybe a house move might be the only time that I can think of where you potentially don't have internet for a little while you're waiting for it to be connected. Phil, you're a prime example of that, right?
I was out for 3 months.
Yeah, so that would suck. But that's like once in potentially a lifetime, right? If you never move again.
I'm never moving again.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, also,
It's never
anyway,
happening.
just hotspot, connect to your PS5, and then you're good for another 30 days.
Yeah, exactly right. It's such a nothing burger. So I was like, well, this isn't a problem for me, but I can understand why this would be a bigger problem. Let's wait to see what actually happens, because Sony, and this is where they went wrong, they stayed silent on this for a little while. And so everyone was going mental, rumors were going crazy, and then all of a sudden they just put out what it actually is, which is a way to be able to get around a refund policy. And I was like, well, I got no fucking problem with this whatsoever. But I always feel like us as a podcast, and I think this is one thing that we're pretty good at, right, is that we'll kind of wait until we get a little bit more juice on there, or if we don't have that bit of juice to be able to like really make an informed opinion, we'll caveat it quite a lot by saying something and then being like, we will wait until we either get this bit of confirmation or this will be bad if this is the case, but we think it might be the other way, right? Like, I think we're quite balanced, but the internet was just doing my fucking tits in looking at this because everyone just goes to like fucking nuclear option. Fuck PlayStation, fuck this, blah, blah, blah. And yet these are the same people that play on Steam that mandates you have full internet connection all the time. It's like, okay.
Doesn't.
It does in the TOCs.
I play offline all the time on Steam.
If you go onto Steam's TOCs, as somebody tweeted out before.
Well, don't tell Steam then. Whoa.
I know, yeah, they have an offline mode.
Jesus.
I'll find it. I'll find it while we're talking, while we're going around. But the point is, it was a nothing burger, right? It really, really was. And people just need to just fucking hang fire and wait till you get the facts. Make an informed decision. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of people just went nuclear, as you said, and they wanted to go down the track of, does this expose how fragile digital ownership is? And I think it's just another element that people need to consider, okay? If you are buying things digitally and you are downloading things to a PlayStation, and for example, you may not have internet in the near future, this might be somewhat of a consideration. Only a small one, but it's something that you need to be aware of ultimately. I think when you're making digital purchases, you do need to think about this. And probably I'm coming from a biased point of view because on PlayStation, I try and sway away from buying digital products as much as I can. All my stuff is physical, so even when the PS5 is retro, I can still play my games. And Twitter really went for that narrative, and it just blew up. But it was fun to read. But it's quite nice now for us just to sort of calm those nerves for anyone hearing about this news. And obviously, we've just explained, the ins and outs of this, where it's not as, I suppose, detrimental as a lot of people thought this was going to be on initial inspection.
Yeah, I mean, who cares anyway, man? When this news came out, and it was what people thought it was, the 30-day thing, like Davey said, what's the beef? Why who cares? Anyway, it's fine. So many people, I know there is the thing of you don't own digital games. Everyone's worried about that. That's always been a thing. This isn't like you own it less. It's the same as it's always been. Same as you have Netflix, you don't own those films. Prime, you don't own those shows. As soon as the subscription's gone, it's gone. You can't keep watching it. You can't download them. It's completely gone. The big thing for this, a lot of people were saying, in 10 years when the servers go offline, you've lost all your games. The PS3 servers are still online. I was downloading Buzz DLC not long ago. The servers are still on there. PS5 is going to last a lot longer than that. And even then, in the amount of time it will take for PS5 to go from where it is now to the servers going down, do you not think they could just say, the servers are going off, now you can just keep the games? Like, if you download them, they're yours forever, or you could just re-download them whenever you want, but the servers are going off, like on the PS3. It's so much time for them to be like, actually, let's not do this, rather than completely shit the bed, panic, scream, nuke PlayStation now. Poor Bungie. Bungie had a marathon tweet out, and all the comments on that marathon tweet I saw were just, not buying this if I only own it for 30 days, or all this bollocks. And it was every single comment. And all I thought was, bro, you have internet. What's your beef?
I get it. Like, if it was a thing, even though it wouldn't really impact me that much these days. Like, back in Xbox One period of time, I don't know, I probably would be feeling a little bit more hesitant at the time, right? Like, but these days, everything's fully connected all the goddamn time, right? Like, as you said, even if the router goes down, you can mobile hotspot to re-authenticate. So I agree. I don't think there's anything really to worry about too much. I've just double checked myself. So for Steam, so you're right, guys, it does have an offline mode. However, it says to times you need to be connected. First launch, most games require you to launch them at least once while connected to the internet to complete setup and verify ownership, and then periodic re-authentication. Steam typically requires you to go online every 2 to 3 weeks to refresh your cache credentials. So it's one of those things that people, even on that side of the catalog, are used to doing, right? They probably don't even think about it. It's probably just one of those things that when you update your Steam login or something, right? Like, you do an update or something and they come out of it. But it's just one of those things that people just are fucking irate, man. And whereas the real thing people should be pissed off about is, like, if PS6 launches and there's no disk drive. Like, that's a bigger fucking issue. And there'll be a problem for that. There will be a community that will be pissed off, right? But it won't be to the size that were for DRM, which is way less of a deal to me. Like, I like to have a physical disc, and then even if there was DRM, you don't have to worry about it, right? Like, I don't know. I just think people just get angry about shit for no fucking, without knowing all the facts, man. It's just always jump into crazy conclusions. Instead, let's just fucking let it simmer. Let's see what's going on. Wait for a response. The downside here, and the thing that Sony should be accountable for, is that they should have got in front of this way quicker. Should just come out really quick, and they didn't. And that's a fucking major problem.
I think the main issue is also just the constant misspread of information.
Yeah.
Or the spread of misinformation, or whatever you want, however you want to say it. They've posted now saying this isn't even true. I guarantee you this is still doing absolute storms online. And everyone still thinks this is the case because they don't care to double check. They've heard this on an article, on the title, probably not even read the article. I just gone, oh my god, Sony done it again, you bastards! And it's like, bro, just go play games. Why do people who play games care more about talking shit about the companies and talking shit about the games than playing the games themselves. Go play your games.
What you've also got to do is just read the tea leaves a little harder, haven't you? You know, sometimes when you do read the comments on Twitter and you look at people's accounts, generally it's still the petty console wars. So if it's a very negative thing that Sony has kind of tripped up on itself, where yes, it definitely should have provided a little bit more information, you look through a couple of the profiles and they're all just big Xbox heads. They're just trying to bring up the kind of fight again. But I think what most people just really dislike with digital ownership is that lack of control ultimately. And what you've got to realize is that they made a choice to go digital. You know, you got to accept these things. You can always go physical with most games. So that is always still an option where you wouldn't have these problems.
Yeah. Although I do feel, and this is a separate conversation, but it still is a fucking issue, is that I hate the fact that you get a physical, and this has been the same ever since PS3, right? Ever since patching, but it's only gotten worse, is that you'll get a game, you'll put the disc in, and then it's like a fucking monstrous install and like huge patches and everything else. And you realise that the disc contents, there's like fuck all on there. You know, and I hate that shit. I wish that if you were buying a disc, it has, like, even if it is just the vanilla version of the game that is just fucked, you know, like everything's fucked, but it's playable.
It's
start
the game.
to finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I wish it just had that rather than being like some cases where you put the disc in, it's just the key, essentially, just to download it. And I fucking hate that, because then that does nothing for anyone. You know, it might as well just be digital at that point, but you got the added faff of putting a disc in. So that sucks. I wish it was a case that if you wanted to truly skirt it and you wanted to get around this and kind of essentially own the game, that you at least had the vanilla version on there in every single case, right? But it's just not, and that's such a fucking shame. It really is. It's like with these Nintendo game cards. Have you seen these? Where it's just got the key and you download
There's a
the game.
little key symbol on the card, isn't it?
Fucking grim, man. It's grim. And I get it for their console, because obviously, you know, you can only fit so much room on a tiny little thing. But if Cyberpunk can do it, then anyone can, right? Like, I don't know. That's
just
my
like
bigger
two discs,
bugbear.
Isn't it? Like
Yeah,
you used to.
yeah, 2 cards,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
miss those days, man.
Yeah, great times, man. Great times. Twitter be twittering, bro. Twitter be twittering. Moving on.
Yep, background to yourself, mate.
Oh, cool. Okay, so for my final piece of news, and I think it's a big deal, right? And so for all you out there that have this game, none of us on the podcast have, and I'm very much firmly against this game, but I'm very happy for this bit of news. The wait is over. PSVR 2 for PlayStation 5 and PS5 Pro now has Microsoft Flight Simulator support as of April 30th. So if you are sitting there being a little wanker pilot who desperately wants to be able to go out there and fly a plane but can't do it in real life for whatever reason, even though they're hiring all the time for new pilots and you could just blatantly do this as a job, you're sitting there with your little rig, you're wanking over your little fucking stick and your gear shift and shit, you're doing all that, you can now be in the plane in VR. And for me, who's had no interest in this game whatsoever, I might download the free trial for this from Premium that we get, plug in my headset and have a go. Because I reckon it'd be fun as hell for a minute or two to fly around in like a fucking Harrier jet or something. Super fun. Am I going to want to then get a rig like I've done for the Gran Turismo? No. Because I'll just become a fucking pilot, right? Like, I'll just become a pilot. But
you didn't become a race car driver.
No.
You thought, nah, that's too easy. But
That's-
pilot, I could definitely gravitate towards that once I've done the PSVR 2 game.
A pilot's just a posh bus driver. That's all they are. A racing car driver needs real skill to be able to do, and I can't do that. I can't survive the G's they're pulling. If I'm flying EasyJet over to Benidorm, you bet your ass. Give me 2 weeks and I reckon I could do it. Especially with fucking autopilot and shit. I reckon they got the easiest fucking job. They're milking it like hell. Sitting there, get the trolley person come over. Just, do you mind? I've had a tough day flying this plane, sitting on my ass for 17 hours. Can
It's a long way round to Benidorm.
yeah. He's taking a detour.
Gone the wrong way,
Hong
mate.
Kong.
Yeah,
He's got the Hong Kong.
Gone the wrong way.
You're used to flying for BA. You're on fucking Ryanair, mate. We're only flying to fucking Ireland. Why have we been in the air for 16 hours? Oh, sorry, mate. First day on the job. I thought it was easy as going up there and pressing the autopilot button. It was. Why didn't you do that? But yeah, I think this is cool. PSVR 2 hasn't had any news for a long time about anything major coming to it. This is a major deal. And it is. It really is. It's fucking cool. I'm guessing, Spence, you're not agreeing with this. You got a PSVR 2. You're telling me you wouldn't want to go on, boot up a game trial, plug in your headset, and experience the flight simulator experience?
No.
Why?
Do you know how cheap it is to just book a flight?
Yeah, but you're not flying it.
I don't want to.
I mean, you could
care about
pretend,
that.
couldn't you? Much like you're pretending with VR. You
Yeah.
could just close your eyes and pretend.
Mate, all you're going to do on Flight Sim is just turn your autopilot on and sit there. What do you mean? It's... who cares, bro? I'm pretty sure Flight Sim has had VR for years on PC. So it's not new. It's just now on PS5. Where Flight Sim, I don't think, is doing well. Because it's an Xbox title and people are tribalistic. Who cares? If I was going to pull out my PSVR 2 after its dormant sleep, it wouldn't be for Flight Simulator, mate. I'd rather be playing mini golf or anything else. Flight Sim. I've shat on that game way too much to
same.
do this.
Same, but I'm going to try it. If there's a trial, I'm going to trial it. I'm going to see what it's like to fly. And then I'll look around that cockpit, right? Look around. See how many buttons there are or whatever. Figure out where they are. And then Bob's your uncle. If things go wrong in my current job, I'll phone up EasyJet. They'll be fucking desperate. They're like, we normally just get bus drivers and that doing this. We're desperate for someone.
It's more qualified than you are, bro.
I can drive a bus, bro. Bus is the fucking easiest job in the world. What do you mean? It's harder to drive a bus than a plane. There's more fucking traffic with a bus and
Exactly,
more stops.
so bus drivers are qualified to go fly a plane. You
got
can't
one
drive a bus.
stop. You got one stop with a plane. Just one, right?
It's a hard stop, though.
You can have layovers with planes.
What's that, sorry?
You can have layovers, so you can have multiple stops with a plane.
Yeah, but that's the pilot wouldn't like go do back-to-back shift, would they? They just do the one.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a pilot, but I've never really seen them swap pilots.
Yeah, they
Have you
may
not?
as well. They're just sleeping the whole time.
Yeah, I suppose they're just chilling, yeah. They're doing fuck all. All we got to watch out for is the occasional bird strike, right? And then it gets real, right? Then it gets real. Then you have to... Have you ever watched Sully? Then you have to land in the Hudson. That shit's... That's proper flying. Bus driver couldn't do that. But that's a seasoned pilot by then. I'm talking entry level. I'm talking you're flying over to Dublin for the weekend or whatever. Easy, lads. John Travolta can do it. I can do it.
Fair.
I'll learn in Flight Sim. Just go in. What would be handy though, lads? Next time we're going away on holiday on a plane, say the pilot hits the stress button. He's just, I don't know, he slept too long. He's in too much of a slumber, right? Just lazy. And the assistant pilot, he's like, I've never flown before. I don't know what to do. I got in here on a fucking free ride or whatever. I could be like, I've got 2 hours.
I've done the 1 hour trial of Flight Sim.
I've got more experience than anyone else here.
What about all the bus drivers that are going to Benidorm as well?
I'd be like, bus driver, I need you up here because I need to know when my stop is. And he'd be like, all right, I'll press the seatbelts on and off button. Be like, cheers, mate. And then I just come in, boop, everything's fine.
Land the button.
Yeah, they'll press the land button. They're like, oh, genius. Is this your first day on the job? I got an hour's training already. Bloody hell. There you go. What about you, Phil? Are you going to pick up a PSVR 2 for Flight Sim 2024?
Well, when I saw this in the doc, I was quietly pleased for you guys over on the PSVR 2 because I've had to sit through quite a few shows. We're up to 135, and the conversation about VR has died off recently, but at least for the first 100 episodes, you guys were hard selling this hardware. Every little mini game that would come out, you'd be like, Phil, you've got to get this. This is generational. And I had to sit through it all, and I'd have to wangle that little carrot and dangle it in front of you guys as if I was ever going to buy this piece of shit. No, it never happened. And I'm quite glad that it never happened because the games have died off largely on PSVR 2, but now this coming to it, wow! Oh my God. the people on Twitter are massively positive about this. But again, maybe that's the Xbox influence that sort of Spencer talked about. For me personally, though, it's not anything that's ever going to bring me into this sort of ecosystem. Like Flight Sim, if I was going to play it, I'd be investing the big bucks. I'd be the one with the big rig at home, with all the controls, all the buttons that you talk about pushing, Davey, and all that pleasure in VR that you've just kind of doing on a dual stick. I'd have the real buttons if I wanted to play it. But no, sir. I ain't interested in that, mate. That's a clear pass for me, but I'm happy for everybody that has the VR and you now have a new game to play.
Exactly right. Exactly right. We're keeping it on the positive trend here. Positive trend. Audience, next episode is a goddamn guarantee. As long as there's a free trial, because I'm not buying this game, as long as there's a free trial, I will report back next episode to let you know how it was in VR and how easy it is to fly.
Do you believe him, Spence?
It's
hard at this point, isn't it?
I would just hope not.
Do you want to put a shot
I'm
on
looking
it?
to see if there is a free trial. I can't see one.
If there isn't one, then definitely we'll put a shot on it.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not buying
mate.
one to get out. I'm not buying it to get out of a
It's
shot.
70 quid.
I'm not paying 70 quid for Flight Simulator, the game that I've put the most amount of shit on for any game over this entire podcast is Flight Sim. Like, the most. That and Infinity Nikki probably kind of tie in up there somewhere.
What about that VR first-person game? You guys were pretty negative on that.
Which one?
Which one?
Fire something?
Oh, fucking hell. Fire Break, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's the worst game.
Bought.
That's the worst game I played this gen.
I didn't buy that game.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Or played, yeah. You talked about it a lot.
It was
Yeah.
awful.
Ass.
And then the company went broke and, yeah.
Thank God. Shut
Yeah.
down.
That one.
Deserved.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Well, while Spencer looks for that confirmation, if I'm playing this next episode, audience, you don't have to worry. If it's available as a trial, I'll report all back about my experience next week. I'm sure it will go better than when I did the wine growing simulation quite a while ago on the show. 100 days of wine or whatever.
Yeah, I forgot
and
about
I ruined my farm. I'm sure it'll go better than that. We'll wait and see. So, who are we moving over to next?
It
Spence,
was
over to you?
Spencer, but
Yeah.
he's Googling away, so I'm more than happy to dive in if you'd
Go
like.
on then. Go on then.
Because this piece of news, I think you'd be probably more interested than Spence, because we've got a bit of storied history, I think, when it comes to Injustice. Spence, you might surprise me. I don't know if we ever sort of saddled up on Injustice, mano a mano, but Davey, we did many of time. And this is a rumor, guys, this news. It's been kind of slotted into quick news, but it is a rumor because later on we're taking questions from the audience, so this is where it lays. So the rumor is that Injustice 3 is in active development by NetherRealm Studio, and this has come via the resume of an artist currently working at Warner Brothers. Now, I must warn you, this isn't officially confirmed by Warner Brothers, DC, or NetherRealms, okay? It makes sense that they will be making another Injustice because they are great games, and the story within the NetherRealms games is something that is very standout. Now, I'm not the biggest DC guy, but I really enjoyed those stories back in the day. I've got Injustice, the original, as well as Injustice 2, and thoroughly enjoyed my experiences with them. But one of the biggest questions is whether, this Injustice 3, is this going to follow its own sort of dark, alternative story universe? Or is this going to tie in more closely with the DCU that, of course, is gaining popularity at the moment? So, Davey, I want to come over to you. I think you'd probably want this game. I'm going to put those words in your mouth. You'd want Injustice 3. But I want to know, where is this game going? What would you like to see from it?
So, for me personally, I want to change. So I love Injustice, I really do. It's got problems. So Injustice is very much like a ranged fighter at heart. Getting in can be quite tricky against a lot of the cast, but when you get in, it gets really fucking cool. And like watching it at high level is like one of my favorite things. I remember spending many an Evo just tuning in, watching Injustice 2. Just love it, man. I just really, really enjoy it. Playing it's quite slow. I think personally, with how much evil Superman there is in the world, with like The Boys and with Invincible and with lots of different things like that where they take a rip on like an evil kind of Superman-esque character, I think they could do something that ties into something my dad's been raving about this year in the comic book world, which is DCKO, I think it's called, right? And it's this crossover comic that's been happening across this year, and it's where they put 32 DC characters in a fighting tournament, and that's what the comic book run is. And so you got everyone from like Swamp Thing, Batman, obviously Superman. I think they've even got like Sub-Zero or something in that comic book run. But they pull like 32 people together to be the roster of this comic, and it's apparently fucking awesome. Dad's been on about it quite a lot, as well as he's been on about how good like fucking absolute Batman and all that is. So I got all these comics to watch, to read, sorry. But that's what I want them to do. I want them to do a DC fighting game, but separate it out from Injustice, because Injustice has its own niche audience. It's not as big as Mortal Kombat. And if you could align that to be more wider, either by the comic or the DCU's too small at this stage to be able to have like a compelling fighting game for it. It's only had Superman, Doom Patrol, and Supergirl's out this year, right? Oh, and then the TV stuff for John Cena's stuff that he's been doing.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker, yeah.
It's great.
So it's too kind of small at this point. But if you were to spread that out wider and just be able to have it open to everything and have a different kind of style and have its own story and everything else, why not? That's what I would like. But if they did stick to Injustice, I'll be over the moon regardless. I fucking love it. I really, really enjoy it. So I'll be hyped. And especially after what we saw with Mortal Kombat 1, where it sold well, sold like 9 million copies or whatever. But that's just the power of Mortal Kombat. I think they need to rest that IP for a moment. And I reckon they can cook with a DC fighting game. I really think they can.
Nice. Well, Spence, let me know about your background when it comes to Injustice. And is this something that you would get excited for once it gets confirmed? And then just to tack onto that, because Davey mentioned some of the characters that you'd like to see, is there anyone specific that you want to see within this game?
Good questions, mate. So, in terms of Injustice, I did play Gods Among Us, so Injustice 1, a bit, really, on launch when it first came out. And then that's about it. I think I played it a bit on launch on the PS3, and then a few years down the line, I got it mega cheap on a Humble Bundle on PC. And I think I played it for about, 20 minutes on PC. And then that was it. I think it came as part of like the Batman Arkham collection I bought. I think it was part of that group, but who knows. I bought loads of Humble Bundles. So I've not got much time with Injustice 1. Injustice 2, I have even less time. I think I played it maybe once with Davey, and he just Black Adam lasered, just Black Adam'd me. And it was
just
lame as hell.
Balled you just at the edge of the screen. Yeah, we've all been there.
And, it just is what it is. But watching Injustice 2, like Davey said at EVO, is some of the best fighting game content I've ever seen. Watching it, I'm a massive fan of, but playing it, not as much. In terms of a new one, I'd have to see it, especially if it's made by NetherRealm again after more MK1. I can't just be like, yeah, I'd love this. I'd need to see it. There's not a chance I could just blind trust this after that absolute disaster of a game. There's no chance. Even the next Mortal Kombat, I'm going to have to see it before anything else. I can't just blind trust it. But in terms of character I want to see, who would I want to see? That's a fantastic little question. I think, the Samurai Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. Because I was thinking as well, when you were saying about make it different, I was thinking about Dragon Ball Fighters, but it's just different variations of all the DC characters. You could have Batman, you could have Absolute Batman, you could have, the Beyond, Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
You could have, Samurai
Pirate
Batman.
Pirate Batman's
Pirate
cool.
Batman, you could do loads of Russian Superman. You can do any variations you want. It'd be crazy. So just make Dragon Ball Fighters with DC, except without the Dragon Rush, because that makes no fucking sense. Or the Key Blast.
Nice. I think for me, I'd probably want them to go down the sort of dark alternative universe, because the things that I've been watching from DC lately, such as like Penguin and Batman, I'm absolutely loving all those TV series at the moment. And they're much more low level. They're less of the kind of Marvel over the top, different universe kind of, or multiverse kind of theatrical takes on things. It's much more real, and that's where I'd probably like them to go. Although I'll contradict myself by telling you which characters I want in there, because I want to see all the Watchmen characters. You know, you want Mr. Manhattan like slapping it about. Wouldn't that be great to sort of see? And then V for Vendetta is always my favorite DC character. So if he can get in there, hey, that'll be brilliant as well. But that's very much where I'd like it pitched, rather than going down the sort of DC universe track.
Oh,
Yeah.
wrong, by the way, for me. Teen Titans is what I want. Big Beast Boy. Changed my mind completely. I want Beast Boy. There we go. That's what I want to say. I love Teen Titans.
I don't know who. There's so many cool characters. I mean, the problem is for me, I want the classics, man. I want Soups. I want Batman.
King Shark.
I fucking don't like King
Aquaman.
Shark. You'd think I would, wouldn't you? I love sharks. You'd think I'd like
I thought
King
that was
Shark.
going to come up, King Shark.
Yeah, you'd think I'd like King Shark. He looks like someone I'd love, but no, I don't really
Big,
like him
powerful
that much.
character, and he's a shark.
Yeah,
Ain't
like
it?
the
Yeah.
Like
dream.
him.
He's just like a street shark.
Yeah.
I should love him, but I don't. For whatever reason, I just think he tries too hard to be likable. I just don't like him for that
I don't think
reason.
he tries to be likable at all.
Oh, he's just got that dumbass fucking stupid, dumb fucking intellect and all this
He's
shit.
just dumb. Yeah, he's just
Yeah, it
dumb.
just fucking does my tits in, man.
Isn't
It's
he like Drax?
Kind of. Yeah, I suppose
Kinda.
so. Just
Yeah,
a shark. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
just a
yeah,
shark.
not as cool, man. Not as cool.
He's not
as
Batista.
I don't think Drax is very cool at all. What about Captain Boomerang, mate?
I like Captain Boomerang a lot. Big fan. I think for me, you know, you just gotta have the Justice League in there. As soon as you got that, you've got so many good characters from that. But if you go in off and you're going out there, I'd probably like to have. I don't think he might have been in Injustice 1 actually, but I would like to have fucking. I don't think he was actually. I'd like to have Clayface, man. Because I think he would just be cool. You know, a big kind of blobby person that you can then just do crazy shit with in a fighting game. You know, you could just imagine him just throwing balls of clay or just like fucking smushing down and appearing behind someone and stuff like that. Like, you can go a bit wild out there with the moveset. Or you could copy the person that you're seeing and then steal their moveset.
I knew
That
you'd
would
say
be quite
that.
cool.
You ever put Clay Fighters?
Oh, yeah. yeah.
There we go. Yeah. There's some similar elements there.
Yeah.
From what you're
well,
saying.
Yeah, we'll leave. I don't want it to be like that. Don't want it like that. But here's hoping, man. Here's hoping we see this. Do you reckon this could be a Summer Game Fest jobby?
Well, it's not confirmed in any way. It was just kind of interpreted on some artist's resume. But we all think it's going to happen. We all want it to happen, don't we? And
Yeah.
they need to, as you mentioned, sort of move past the latest Mortal Kombat and sort of let the movies do the talking for that franchise, because I think that's going to be very popular. The movie for Mortal Kombat, I think that is becoming well received. At least all the stuff I've been seeing on Twitter for that. So that franchise probably needs to just be on the movies for a little bit. But yeah, I'd be really keen to see this. I want it, and I'm expecting it. So if it does come at Summer Games Fest, I'd be very happy.
Fingers crossed. Wait till our Shag, Marry, Kills at the time.
But there we go. It's a
Yeah,
possibility.
true.
It is. It certainly is. Spence, over to you for the last piece of quick news.
So, for my last bit of quick news, I'm actually very keen to know what you guys are going to say. But first, I have a question. I'm the king, so I suppose I could just say anyway. But the button's off.
Yeah.
Sure. What button?
No, sure.
The
It is
autopilot
off.
button.
That has to be on, otherwise Davey can't fly. The game that can't be mentioned button is off. Resident Evil. We can say it. And there's a reason it's off. My topic, you bet. I like that though, just the one little noise. I actually like that. That's quite funny. The Resident Evil movie trailer has come out. Yes, they are making another one. Who would have guessed it? But this one is by the director of Barbarian and Weapons. What's his name, Davey? It eludes me.
Zach Kreger.
Zach Kreger, there it is. I did know that. That's annoying. But yeah, the trailer come out recently. I tried my best not to watch it because I didn't want to watch it. I thought I'd just go into the movie blind, not any thoughts at all, because it's been a terrible history of Resident Evil movies. So I thought I'd love to go in perfectly blind. And then obviously our group chat has been popping off about it with Joseph Thomas. And then I saw it in the doc today and I was like, I've got to watch the trailer. So I've seen it now. My question is, have you boys both seen it, and what are your thoughts? Phil, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer. I jumped on it straight away as soon as it was available. As soon as our friend Joseph Thomas put it in the chat, I wanted to watch it because I'm very intrigued of where Zach is going to take this franchise, because he's come out and he said some things about what he wants to do with this movie. He says that he doesn't really necessarily want it to be a zombie movie. He's saying things like it's set at the same point in time as Resident Evil 2, but there's elements within it that you'll know from the video games, but you're not going to see Leon, you're not going to see Claire, you're not going to see Wesker, you're not going to see any memorable names from the video games within the movie. It's just going to be elements such as like weapons upgrades and keys to open doors. And I'm thinking, well, okay, well, let's see where this goes. So I sat down, prepared myself mentally and physically. I wiped my face down, I was ready. Give me what you got, Zach, because as Spencer, you've said, we've been put through the mill, haven't we, when it comes to Resident Evil movies. They've all been terrible, and the only one that really holds any resemblance is probably the first Anderson movie. Like, that was okay, probably the closest we got out of all the movies and TV series when it comes to this franchise. But we're very used to being bumfucked as a fan of this franchise. People just using it to, I don't know, get more views on it. And I thought, well, let's see where Zach takes this, because he is a storied, legendary as such producer of movies. People like his past works, and we sat down and we watched it, and there's lots of elements that sort of continue from his older movies. I've seen quite a few screenshots where they pick certain scenes from his previous movies, and you can see them within the trailer of Resident Evil. But from what I'm seeing, there isn't much connection. And I might not be reading it as closely as some people, but outside the title, Resident Evil, that does appear, I'm not seeing a lot of similarities. And outside, I wouldn't really see much in there. I wouldn't go, well, there's a zombie or there's a licker. There's nothing really there that reminds me of Resident Evil. The atmosphere and the kind of setting very much seems more modern. There's a scene where he's running through snow, and I don't exactly remember that one from Resident Evil 2, but I don't know how close it is to Resident Evil. He says he's heading towards Raccoon City, so I don't know how far away he is. Maybe he's very north, where it takes place, but apparently he's heading towards the chap in the trailer is heading towards Raccoon City. But yeah, I'm not seeing much in there, guys. Now, Davey, maybe you'll be able to fill me in on some missed details, but yeah, I'm not seeing much outside the title screen for this game, or for this movie being a game.
There's a couple of little things, and I think they're more not even Easter eggs, but I think they're more like how the game kind of works without you really thinking about it, right? And I've read a couple of interviews that Zach's done, and so it became a little bit more apparent, right? But the first thing I noticed when I watched the trailer is the door opening sound, same as the game. So I was like, oh, that's nice, right? I picked up on that straight away. I was like, oh, that's a really nice thing. He's going through drawers, finds a shotgun empty, has to look for ammunition. I was like, oh, that's very much like it. All I need to do now is find a red herb, right, and a green herb and combine them. Need that in there somewhere, right? But it's those little things. And the one thing that Zach says, he's a massive Resident Evil fan, played all the games, absolutely loves them, especially the classic trilogy. And he says the big thing about that is that you gradually work up from a pistol all the way up and you get a range of arsenal. And he said we're doing exactly the same thing in this. We're starting, our first weapon you find is a Beretta, and then from there it's a big deal when you find the shotgun, and you kind of move and cycle through. And I thought, oh well, that's a nice thing that kind of goes alongside with the Resident Evil kind of gameplay experience, I suppose.
Is that not just any game though? There's not many games where you get the BFG straight away.
No, but you know what I mean. It is something that is.
Would you connect that to Resident Evil? If it wasn't kind of put in your mind that this is a Resident Evil thing, that you start with a pistol and end up with a shotgun or a machine gun? It happens in a lot of games, right?
It does, but
they don't have the same significance, though.
Yeah, Resident Evil has a history of start with a pistol, end with an RPG. This always ending with the RPG every freaking time to the point. Honestly, I'm sick of it. But but it is synonymous with Resident Evil. That is how it works, you know. So I do get it.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying it does in other games, right?
No, you are right. Yeah, there's so many other games. Like literally every game has it as well.
Yeah, every game has weapon progression.
Yeah, but it's a massive deal in every Resi when you do find that shotgun. It really is like a big deal. Whereas like when you're playing Doom or whatever, say you find a shotgun, you don't really like pop off over the fact you got the shotgun or the super shotgun. You're just like, well, yeah, of course.
In the earlier games, it was a huge upgrade from the pistol.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, fair enough. Modern Doom, you're just like, yeah, I mean,
Modern
cool.
Doom, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, but no, I think it's those kind of details that are more there. The rest of it, as you said, Phil, I can't see a lick of it being Resident Evil. But you know what? Take the name out of it, and you probably just got a good horror movie. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to forget that I'm going in to watch a Resident Evil movie and just go in and watch another horror film by Zach Cregger. And I've enjoyed his last two. So I'm probably going to go and enjoy this. Although I'll probably come out of it and say, wasn't really a Resident Evil film. But if the alternative is that we get a good film that isn't like Resident Evil, that's better than the film that is like Resident Evil and it's shit. Which is what we've kind of had. So I think that it's the side I'd much prefer to have rather than the other, because we've experienced the other and it's bad news bears.
Yeah, as a fan, we've been given something that tried to be very, very close to the games, and it failed for all of us. But I always find it kind of difficult to accept when someone says something that they're big fans of the game. And when he was talking in one of the interviews, they were like, "Oh, so what's your favorite Resident Evil?" Do you guys know what he said?
Never.
Hopefully not 4.
I reckon he said
no.
He said 4. Yeah. He said 4 was his favorite game. So I don't know if he's just reading from the hymn sheet there. He's not really made up his own mind what his favorite is, and that's always my feeling when someone says that is their favorite game, unless you speak to someone like Joe Thomas, who can tell you many reasons why that is his favorite game, and I can trust that that's his favorite game and that's the one he thinks is the best. But a lot of people will just go for that default. So if it's Metal Gear, they say Metal Gear 3 is their favorite, right? Because it's the popular choice. Now, I would have felt a little bit more secure in Zach's claims of being a massive fan if he had picked any other game.
What if you picked 6? What if you picked 6?
Then, yeah. Well, I know he played them.
Yeah, I think that's at least his opinion.
And that's fine, right? You can like 6 if you really want to like 6.
No, you can't.
I know it's the wrong choice. You know it's the wrong choice. But he's made a choice that isn't the one everyone picks.
Yeah.
I suppose my thinking then as well, when you were saying if it's a Resident Evil movie but it's just not a Resident Evil movie, it'll be good. Because the most popular Resident Evil game isn't a Resident Evil game. That's the one that's most adored. Granted, not by us.
Yeah.
But all I've ever asked for from Resident Evil is a horror movie. I want it to be scary because that's what it's supposed to be, not whatever the hell we've gotten before. And that's why I've said this before, the opening to Welcome to Raccoon City, I know. The opening to Welcome to Raccoon City is really good. I do think it is. It's the best part of the film until he says Redfield. Then it's like, fuck's sake. As soon as he says that, it drops off a cliff. But up until that point, when they're in the orphanage, I'm spoiling this film now, in the orphanage and Lisa Trevor's thereabout, it's creepy as hell.
Yeah, it's good.
Scary. It is genuinely scary. Awesome. And then it's like when Claire first shows up as well, and there's that old woman at the door, scary as well. There are some good scenes. And each good scene, and with the lighter not working in the mansion.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
All the good scenes in that movie, and there's not many, but all the good ones are when it is just scary and a horror. And I trust Zach. After Weapons, because I adored Weapons. I thought it was
amazing
brilliant.
film. Yeah, me.
I trust him with this. Even if he's literally not making a Resident Evil movie, but he's just slapping a name on it. Go ahead. Because I'm fine with that, as long as it is piss my pants scary, and it looked like it might be. Those hands coming out the door on the thing, I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I'm wondering what that's all about. I'm wondering what that is. And I think the issue that I'll have, I suppose, would be if they go too far off from some of the classics. Like if you choose not to, say for example, they choose not to use a dog, or they choose not to use a liquor, or we know zombies are in there because they're in the trailer. But
He says there's 3 zombies in the whole film.
But isn't there the part where he's locked behind the door in like what looked like a hospital?
I think
or something?
3 scenes maybe with zombies.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
You don't want to have them all over the place.
I'm
It's
completely
not a
fine
zombie
with that.
film.
Yeah, that's fine by me. 'Cause, I mean, it's not like if they're everywhere, they lose their scary factor. If you have them too much, it kind of loses the purpose of it being there. But if you're getting all these crazy creatures that have never been in anything before, then I think it will feel even further away from the identity of where it is. So as long as you have something like, I don't know, a hunter or something like that. Hunter they should do, because the hunters haven't been in anything. Have a hunter.
And you love a hunter, do you?
I love hunters, man. They're great.
Yeah, I saw one thing, a big thing for me for this trailer. They've got the Baron from Dune in it.
yeah, I did notice that, yeah.
We all saw that.
And I was like, let's go, Dune, baby. When I saw him, I was like, oh, that's him. That's
People-
awesome, bro.
People online are pulling some fucking crazy opinions out. They're like, that's the Duke. The
Oh.
Duke's going to be in it. It's like, no, it's not. It's just a
Duke
fat
from
fucking
8,
scary
bro.
zombie, dude.
It's just a
There's
bloater
no
from
way.
Left 4 Dead. And he's
Yeah.
just played the wrong fucking game.
Yeah.
He's played
Yeah.
Silent Hill and Left 4 Dead and thought, Resident Evil, let's do it.
Mate, there was a noise in there as well. At one point where there was a zombie, there was a noise that was 100% a clicker noise as well from Last of Us. And I was like, he's just grabbing everything, bro. And I'm like, yeah, I love that.
It'd be
Crack
fine.
on, mate. I think even if it's not much of a Resident Evil film, I'm hopeful for this one.
And me.
we're always hopeful. We were hopeful for Welcome Raccoon City. Granted, not, we knew what it was, but the trailers look good. This trailer looks good.
I think you're right. I think, you got a good trailer, you got a great director. Hopefully, that's enough, right?
Well,
and
yeah, Resident Evil's never had good story, and it seems like he's just sacking off the story and making his own.
yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
He's trying to write something that gives us more kind of background on the T-Virus. I think that's what he said. He said he's exploring what the T-Virus could do outside what it did in the games.
I love that.
Okay. All right.
So he's kind of giving himself an out for coming up with stuff. Because the T-Virus could do other things, I'm sure.
Yeah, haven't we seen
Yeah.
pretty much every single animal in the world infected with T-virus at this point? I feel like we have. Like
Well,
the
we've
zoo
seen
covered
elephants
quite a
and
lot.
zoos. Yeah.
Yeah, giraffe. Yeah.
We've seen a giant worm in Resident Evil 3 with the grave digger, right? So you've seen it on worms. I'm trying to think.
Sharks.
Seen it on
Snakes. An
rats,
invisible snake
crocodiles.
at one point.
Yeah.
crocodiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've kind of seen a lot of what it can do. I mean, giant snake, seeing Yawn would be fucking cool. Like, put him in. Put Yawn in, for God's sake. Have a giant snake knocking about. Do it, pussy. Do that.
Pussy.
Pussy.
Yeah, do that. Some monkeys, like in RE0. They're fucking worst enemies ever. Put some of them in. Fucking nightmare fuel. But I agree with you guys, though. I think it's going to be a good time.
It'll be
Yeah.
okay, and I'm sure we'll see it, and I'm sure we'll do something special around it, because it'd be quite a good chat. I know we didn't do it for Silent Hill, but I think for Resident Evil we probably should.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed. Completely
Yeah.
agreed.
Depends our reaction when we come out. doesn't it?
Yeah.
If we come out and we're like, we should never talk about this again, then it will get the Silent Hill 2 treatment, where it was like 5 minutes of just saying this fucking shit to Void. But if it's actually got something worth talking about, which I imagine it will, then yeah,
Hopefully.
I'd love to. I'd love to. Karen's keen for it. I showed her the trailer and she was like, that looks really good. I was like, it does. It does, yeah. Agreed. So we'll wait and see. September, right?
Yeah.
September 30th, I think, isn't it? No, 18th, sorry. It's Flight Sim's 30th.
I'm getting so many flashbacks of before the Silent Hill movie, and we're all like, that trailer looks great.
It did look great. It did.
It did.
I was more convinced on that trailer than this one.
Really? I'm not.
Yeah.
Although the walking,
This
when he's
just looks
walking
like a horror
through...
film. This doesn't look like Resident
I'm
Evil.
about that, bro. When he's walking through the
that's good.
city,
That's fine.
I thought this looks like Silent Hill, and I was like, oh no. And then when the people jumped off the building, I was like, oh yeah, sick. Actually, no, it's fine. Saved it. But yeah, I'm hype. I'm hype. I'm hopeful. I think this will be good.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with you on this. I'll put our sordid history in the past aside and say that we're in for a good one. We've waited 30 years. This time. It's time we get one good one.
I can't wait for the reviews to come out and be like 40% Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
But
Who's going to have a crack at it next, you know? I'm really interested. You know, we were talking about, is it Jacksepticeye doing the whole Bloodborne thing?
Bloodborne, yeah.
yeah.
You know, like maybe Capcom just go, do you know what? Maybe we'll get some fans involved. And
Joseph
you know,
Thomas.
yeah, let's get someone like who actually knows what's going on involved. But,
Yeah, but-
hey, he claims he does, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt and let's see what he's got.
Mate, whoever's
Agreed.
next, it'll only be 6 months after anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Which is
sure.
what-
I love chucking them out, bro.
churn it out, dude.
But I think that's enough Resident Evil talk. Button, back on. Shbloop, bloop, bloop. There we go. So that is it for quick news, I think, right, lads?
That
It
is
is,
it,
yeah.
my dude.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the
Alright.
close? You never do the close. Go on.
I do never do the close. All right, sure. So that has been it for quick news. Hope you enjoyed that little bit, that little tidbit. Let us know who you thought was the worst on the quick news, meaning the least enthusiastic, the least kind of up for chat. Who had the worst bits of news as well? I think, I'll be honest, Davey's a strong contender there. But, you know, formulate your own
Never on
opinions.
the dock.
You know, yeah, and yet he selected Flight Sim for PSVR 2 and FF7 might be shown. You know?
Quick news.
Terrible bits of news. But, you know, form your own opinions, listeners. Don't listen to me. But I look forward to seeing who you pick. The poll will be in the description of the next episode. Have at it. But anyway, let's move it on to the topic of the show.
Stop! Topic time!
And here we are, the topic, and today's topic is an absolute juicer. It is over to you, audience. We asked for questions and you have delivered. We've gathered these both from Twitter and from our Discord. So if you're not in the Discord by now, take a look at yourself and think, what the hell have I done wrong in my life? Because this is the moment where you can correct it and join the Discord and get involved with the fun. So our first question is from Discord itself, and it's Nebs has written in, and they ask, can a game be too big? I'm currently playing Crimson Desert, and I do like how big the map is and that there are loads to do, but this now means Pragmata has gone into the back catalogue, and we all know it's not coming out soon. Next up is Saros 007 and Lego Batman, and I'm only halfway through Crimson Desert. So guys, can a game be too big? Spence, over to you.
So glad you gave it to me first, mate, because I was going to raise my hand. Yes, it absolutely can. And I've voiced my opinion on this time and time again. Skyrim's too big. I can't be asked to go back to it because it takes too long. The Witcher could not be asked. It was too long. The only reason I haven't played the Red Deads is because they're too big and I know I'm not going to have the time commitment to do it. Games can absolutely be too big, especially now in a time where games are releasing constantly. We've always got new releases of new games, and when they're coming out and they're 150 hours each, you just cannot play them all, and that is a damn shame. So if a game's too big now, I typically just avoid it. It's like our conversation earlier about Final Fantasy Rebirth. Not only is it too big, it's too full of fluff, and
Yes.
that's the issue. If a game is massive but it keeps you there that entire time, if it fits the game, then it can't be too big. If it actually fits what the game is trying to deliver. If it's big for the sake of being big, cut that shit out.
Yep.
I cannot deal with that. I won't play it. Abso-freaking-lutely. And I am sorry to hear the Pragmata is on your backboard because it is a good game. But once you start playing Saros, it's going to be even further behind, brother.
Spence, I'll save my thoughts, but I'm right there with you, pal. Phil, what do you reckon?
Well, I've just got to echo everything Spencer said because I completely agree. Games can be too big and too big for me. It's much more of a consideration now than it has ever been. And get your bingo cards ready because it's all about time. When I was younger, you know, the length of games, it didn't even come into my head. It wasn't a consideration. I never looked at a game and thought that's going to take X hours and this game is going to take X hours. Maybe I'll go down that route because when you're a kid, you don't know these facts. Information is much freer now. You can just go on Google or AI, as most people use these days, and find out the length of a game. Pragmata, probably going to get through it in 12 hours, aren't I? You know, compared to something like Crimson Desert, which may be a 100-hour game. And when you're considering a new IP, and that's how I do things nowadays, is I weigh it up with risk. Because 100 hours in a game is a lot of risk if you don't love it. It's very hard, I think, to take that risk with a new IP such as Crimson Desert, and it would be new for me, to be able to spend that time and want to continue with that unless it absolutely grabbed me, or, of course, maybe I was suckered in with like a really good demo, because that could happen. I'm willing to accept those sort of lengths of games a little bit more when it's an IP that I know. For example, Death Stranding, I knew it was going to be over 100 hours, or at least 100 hours that I was going to play the game, but I love the IP, so I was in for the long haul. But something like a Crimson Desert, or something like, a new game that everyone's like, yeah, it's a big one. I'm like, oof, let's see how things go. Let's see some reviews. I need a little bit more encouragement to get on board. So yes, definitely for me, and much more of a consideration than it's ever been in my entire life, because life is just full these days. There's so many other things going on other than gaming, unfortunately, guys. So what happens when you grow up? Hate to say it.
Sad, mate. Sad times, but it's true. It really is true. And I completely agree with you, both of you boys. A game can be too big. And Spence, you brought up what I would have used, which is The Witcher. I spent 40, 50, maybe even 60 hours into The Witcher, and I barely scraped it. And it was just that thing of just where I constantly felt like, even though I could have just been doing the story, the side content was so good that for 60 hours I was just doing side content, right? And that's my own fault. It's the way I was playing. I like to be able to, kind of like the Ubisoft method, where you like tick off a map, right? I like to be able to tick it off, it's done, kind of checklist it, it's sorted. But in a game like The Witcher, every time I do something, another icon would pop up, right? And I felt like I was never getting anywhere. And at a certain point, I had played enough to be like, I know what this game is. I've really enjoyed my time with it, but I'm going to bounce, going to move on to other things, right? I think game length is one of those things that it's a tough cookie to crack, because if the game is really compelling enough, regardless of how long it is, you don't want it to end, right? You really don't. If it's something that you really enjoy and that you're in for however many hours that is, you can't get enough of it, right? And you feel sad when it ends. And I've had that on a 30-hour experience. I've had that on like a 90-hour experience in the past. It doesn't really matter. But the one thing that is a barrier to entry is, as you've mentioned, Phil, is when you've got competing priorities for other games. And for example, I'm desperate to play fucking Persona 5, right? Everyone tells me I'll love it. But when I'm playing other stuff at the time, and there's other games that are coming out, like I'm really looking forward to 007, I know that's coming out in like a month's time. Would I want to start something that's going to take me 200 odd hours? No. And so then at that point, there become so many things that kind of get in the way of me starting it, because I know it's going to be a long experience and I won't be able to see it through before I want to get to these other things. And so that becomes the barrier then at that point. But I've had times before where when I get into a game and I love it, I was thinking about like Final Fantasy 16 a couple of years ago when that came out. I did 2 run-throughs of that. I think it was like 120 hours for the plat or something. And I did that because I was loving it. I was absolutely loving it. I couldn't put it down. And saw it through for a second time again for like another 70-odd hours, just because I wanted to show that I really enjoyed it so much that I earned a platinum. So game length is a hard thing to be able to say it's definitely going to put you off. But I think when you've got competing priorities, it then becomes something that you've got to be really hesitant of. And it's the same with starting any piece of media, really. It's like One Piece. It's got like 1,000-odd episodes. It's enough to make me think, I don't know if I want to commit to 1,000-odd episodes. Like 3 seasons of something. Even when it's 3 seasons deep, I'm like, okay, it's going to be a time commitment for me to sit here and do 3 seasons of TV, let alone 75 seasons of fucking One Piece, So it is just one of those things. But you're right, Phil. It's getting older. It's having competing priorities. Don't have as much time as you used to, and you need to really make a conscious decision to use your time in what you think is wise at that point. But yeah, it's a tough one, and you're 100% right, guys. A game can be too big. Our next question, guys, is from Twitter. And it's Potato Chief has written in. And I saw this question the other day when he posted it, and I've been racking my head, and I'm really struggling with it, so I'm glad that you guys are going to have to go first on this. So they ask, the Xbox One launch / PS5 rumored DRM, which thankfully was incorrect, both nearly killed my fandom for each brand. Is there any DRM, price, or other corporate bullshit that would put you off buying a PlayStation 6? Spence, open the floor.
Sure. So there's been a lot of people up in arms regarding DRM for loads of reasons and loads of different things. Like when Helldivers 2 was on PC and you were going to have to sign into PlayStation Network. Remember, and everyone lost their minds.
Oh,
You
yeah.
couldn't sign in if you were in Guernsey. Like, come on. But I've not had that same anger in me about anything. So for me, there's nothing really that would put me off. The only corporate thing, it's not DRM based, it's corporate. Well, and price, like you said, the price of the console at launch. That's the only thing that could put me off. If the console launched at an absolutely egregious price, that is it. Especially if games were still launching cross-gen like they did at the start of the PS5. If the PS6 launches at an obscene price and games are still coming to PS5, I'll wait. Happily wait. However, I do also think, going back to a conversation we had a little while ago on the show, gaming is a luxury. And I think it's a very affordable luxury. Sure, there are a lot of costs, and people are always kicking off at the prices of games, but for what games are, they really aren't that much. And the consoles themselves, I know they're going up in price and up in price and up in price. I've had this console for what, 6, 7 years? Oh my god. I've had it for about 7 years. A complete accident. Had it for about 7 years, and it only cost me what, 450 at launch, and I have spent thousands of hours on this bit of technology. I'm sure I've had to pay for the other things to come with it, the games and stuff, etc. But we get free games every month for a membership, I suppose. They're not free, but it is a good deal, especially for the amount of time you get to sink into it. So the price, I think, even if the PS6 launched at like £1,200, if it was worth it, I'd buy it. So I really don't think there's anything that could put me off buying the PS6 unless it was like £2,000. That is pretty much it.
I think that's what you were saying in terms of price is really important. I know we, as you said, we did talk about this quite recently. I think when we were talking about like the rumored Xbox pricing and what that would mean for PlayStation. I know we talked about it then, but I always think with prices like, you know, a comic book takes what, 3 minutes to read max, something like that. You know, especially if you just read, if you're not really taking in the art or whatever, you're just reading it, probably get it done in a couple of minutes, and that's like what, £3, something like that, for like 3 minutes. Whereas you're getting a game, we're just saying about games being too long, right? You potentially could spend 60 quid and have hundreds of hours of entertainment out of something. So it's yeah, it's a difficult thing with pricing, and I kind of get you. I've been thinking about this when it comes to the PS5, PS6 pricing. What is the top limit? And right now, I don't know. I really don't know what that would be. I think as soon as we get over 1,000, which I imagine we probably will, it's going to sting. But would it stop me? No, probably not. But I don't know where that limit is, where I'm like, hang fucking fire. Is it maybe £1,500? Is it maybe £2,000? I don't know. But I don't think that's the answer for me is price. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Phil, to hear your rationale for this, and maybe this will help me formulate my own opinion, because right now I really don't know.
Definitely not price for me, because my comparison usually when looking at consoles is how much am I spending on my PC? I have spent well over even the top end that you sort of quoted there on elements of my computer. So I've got no issue investing in a PlayStation 6 when it comes out. I don't know where the top limit would be, but even if it hits what you quoted, I think I'd just be fine with it. I think I'd just pony up and probably buy it day one. I really do. Because we've had so much enjoyment from the PlayStation, especially if we're continuing the podcast. I've absolutely loved this generation. It's up there with my favorite generations, being the PS3. But PS5 has been absolutely amazing, guys, and you're a big part of it as well. But yeah, price really wouldn't put me off. But the thing that really irks me, I think, now, as we sort of transition into this new world, is probably the integration of AI with literally everything. And if PlayStation really try and go too much into that area, I don't know what that would look like. I like what the use that they've done so far with AI, but if it becomes egregious, if it becomes over the top, and if there's somewhat of a subscription method tied into this, I think it would really irk me, because everything I'm seeing these days is a larger subscription model to get AI elements of certain things in the software that I use. So I work with a lot of software as a service, and those software as a service subscriptions get even more expensive if you include AI elements. So something like that, I think, would really irk me if PlayStation went down that track. So if you are going to get a better version of PSSR with the PS6, but you've got to pay a subscription for that, that would really hurt me. I think something like that would really just grind my gears, because I fucking hate all these subscriptions. I'm one of those people that tries to get very minimal subscriptions, although I probably subscribe to everything these days. I've only just taken out a Sky subscription, which actually really encompasses most subscriptions that you get with TV, so it's quite nice. It includes Netflix, includes Disney, includes HBO, so it has everything under one sort of banner. But back in the day, you would just have everything, and it's just getting more and more and more egregious. So I think for me, if that is somewhat tied to AI and that subscription method is forced, that would really hurt me, because I'm a late adopter of the online play on PlayStation. On PS4, I largely went through PS4 without paying for online. PS3 was the golden age where you could play for free. As soon as PS4 came in, I hated it. I hated the idea, because primarily at that time I was probably a PC player and we could play for free. So paying for something that I know I get for free on a different platform really hurt me and really stopped my progression with PlayStation. It was only later on that I subscribe, and I subscribe today. But even then, I still fucking hate paying to play online. I can understand all the benefits, of course, and we've talked about that conversation many, many times. But yeah, for me, subscription methods getting higher and higher. If it's somewhat a premium version of PSSR 2, if we're going to go down that route, or let me just cap this off, a forced cloud gaming service, that would annoy me. You know, like we've got with premium.
Yeah.
If that was somewhat, if that was somewhat forced with PS6, it's not going to stop me. Let's be real, right? But it would irk me. I would hate it. I probably would try and not do that if it was possible, but we'll have to see what's laid out.
I fully vibe with you. I mean, like, in terms of, there's nothing worse than when there's something that's already on the system and you can't get it because it's behind a paywall. Like, that just pisses people off in general, right? So I get that if there was like built-in upscaling or whatever, or like, say for example, the integration with the handheld that's coming out. If they're like, you've got to pay a separate license fee to be able to play the games that you've already got on your handheld or some shit like that, right? There's just absolute money grabbing. That would be fucking annoying. I think the only thing that would put me off buying the console, and I don't think it would do it fully, which is why I don't have a definitive answer, but one thing that would be definitely a fucking dropped ball would be if there was no ability for physical on PS6. If there is, like, I fully expect it not to ship with a drive. I fully just expect that at this point after the PS5 Pro. I get it. Like, for the majority of people, it's not going to be an issue. It's a big cost reduction. I get it for those people that want that. But if they just had no option, and so I can't play any of my PS5 or PS4 games that I've got physical on the device, that would fucking suck. Like, that would really fucking suck. I'd hate it. I'd hate having to buy a separate disc drive anyway, but I would do it. I would do it.
I've done it.
Yeah, I would. Like, I'd hate it, and I'd bitch about it, I'd moan, but I'd still pony up. If it was a case that it was just not possible, that they just never did release one, it was all digital future from now on, that would grind my gears. I don't know what I'd do. I'd end up buying one anyway and just going along with it, I imagine. But it would suck. Like, that's the only thing I can think of offhand.
The only other thing I can think of really would be if it just had no backwards compat. But
that would suck.
It would suck.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
But it's not going to happen because there's no way. And also, if it did happen, I'd still get one. Because I have my PS5, which can play PS4 and PS5. It's not like that's going anywhere. So it wouldn't be the end of the world again. People seem to like it would really suck. But on Twitter, they'd be like, I'm never buying another Sony product again. Whereas it's a good product still. It's just that one thing that it's a hard pill to swallow, sure, but you're still getting a next-gen gaming experience.
I suppose the only other caveat to this, and it's telling because none of us have brought it up, right? Because it just doesn't seem fathomable. But say, for example, all these things that we've raised all come true, right? They're all there. It's
I just
all bad.
spat in my shock that something like that could actually happen. Jesus Christ.
Say it does. Just let's go Armageddon territory here.
Yeah.
And we get all this coalesces into one generation for PlayStation, like the biggest fuck up ever. But the Xbox comes out and it looks fucking what the PS5 does at cheaper price and everything else. But it's PS6 level kind of graphics and stuff. It's on par, but it doesn't have any of that bullshit in. That would be the only thing that I'd be like, I'd definitely be eyeing up the competition at that point if that was there. If there was all this baked in and the Xbox was looking fucking golden, then why would I go for the inferior version, right? I'd probably, realistically, what would probably happen is I'd probably just sit and wait for them just to fucking walk it all back in a couple of years, like they did on PS3. And then the PS3 generation was fucking fantastic. So I'd probably just hang fire rather than switch over. But that is a possibility in this doomsday scenario that would never happen.
I still wouldn't switch.
No?
Not a doubt in my mind, because we don't have Saros on the other side. You don't have Last of Us. Again, sure, it's the console war, but it's the games. And even if, sure, the Xbox can do everything the PS6 can, it doesn't have the same games that PS6 does. In fact, it has no games. So
it's like the Switch 2 argument. We're all going to end up getting a Switch 2 for Smash, right? Like,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because then the game's there, the game that you want to play. So if, sure, the PS6 could launch, no backwards compat, $2,000, AI's involved, you got to pay for the AI. Oh, but you're getting Dark Souls 4, you're getting Spider-Man 3, you're getting Last of Us 3, you're getting Uncharted 5. We'd be like, yes, take it. Please, Bloodborne 2.
Yeah, we probably would.
Yeah, you're
Half-Life 3, whatever appeals to
I'd be
everyone.
playing that on my PC. I don't think it's going to be a PlayStation exclusive. That would be out of left field if it suddenly became a PlayStation exclusive.
It'd be insane, yeah.
PS6
but that's what
exclusive.
I mean. Though. It's not the console, it's the games. That is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So I can't switch sides to Xbox ever because they don't have the exclusives. I just wouldn't be able to, even if they had the better deal, because ultimately it's not the better deal.
Well said, mate. Well said.
Agree.
Audience, I wouldn't mind your takes on this. If there's anything, because we've kind of been scraping the barrel here, can't really think of too much. Maybe an outside perspective would be great here. Let us know. Write in, Discord, email, Twitter, whatever. Let us know. I'd be really keen to hear some extra thoughts on this. Next question. This one's from Discord, and Tristan's written in. He said, what position do you think PlayStation Studios characters would play in football? QB, WR, LB. Now, as somebody who doesn't understand sport in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to have a guess at what these are. And this is American football. Tristan's American. I take it. Quarterback. Wide right.
Wide receiver.
All right, okay. Left back.
Yeah, that's a football term. Left back.
It is
What's
left back,
LB then?
I don't know.
I think
I know
it's still
wide
left back.
receiver.
It is wide receiver and quarterback, 100%.
Yeah. But LB.
Little Big Planet.
Let's find out.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Let's do a Google on that one.
I don't understand American football at
we
all.
all know it as well.
What is it?
Linebacker.
Oh, I know it.
Linebacker.
I was just about to say it. I was just about to say it as well.
Yeah, me too. I was as well.
I literally was as well.
was, yeah.
Watch
I
that
had it.
back in the replay. You'll see the realization come into my eyes.
I saw you tick, but it happened as I was saying it because of the delay.
Oh, fuck. There you go. Now, I don't know what any of these positions do. I don't know football. Quarterback, from what I understand, is a bigger guy. I think they're the guys that like run into people and that.
I'm
Don't
pretty
know
sure
the
quarterback is actually it's the most acclaimed position.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
the fast
actually
guy.
it's
that
like
the
I think
fast
it's
guy?
actually the bitchiest position. It's the guy who throws the ball,
Oh,
right?
fuck.
Because Tom Brady was quarterback, wasn't he?
why don't we change this to be more of a football analogy, like actual football,
I
not
think that's
American
wise.
football?
Yeah.
Because at least we understand positions.
I think if you pick a goalkeeper, a defender, a midfielder, and a striker, I think that would probably work, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So, okay, let's start with goalie. What do you reckon, boys? Any thoughts on who would be our goalie from the PlayStation Studios family?
Sure,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy.
Oh, go on, Phil. Go
Oh,
on. I've
you-
got a
you
great
go-
shout.
you go
though.
first.
No,
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 no.
mate. As the king, you go.
All right, well, I'll just go for the obvious first. I'm just going to go straight up Kratos because he's a massive
goal.
presence, isn't he, in goal? And he's impossible to intimidate. Goalkeepers need to have like a strong commanding voice in the team, and they need to be able to order their troops. And I really think Kratos would fit into that kind of aspect. He's a huge guy. He could fill the goal. So yeah, I'm going with Kratos.
Tell you right now, bro. Terrible choice. I know exactly where Kratos is going. My goalkeeper is Knack.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah, bro.
Good choice on Knack.
Knack
That's a
would
fucking-
smash it. Not little Knack, obviously not. When he's
Big,
know,
yeah, big.
big Knack, baby. I also thought just a shadow of the Colossus. You know, a Colossus, but that's a bit
Yes.
unfair. So Knack is my choice.
Okay, yeah. I didn't have an opinion on this, but I'll tell you what
Okay.
I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this up to you guys to decide, and I'll have the passing vote. Look at this. Pitch it to me. Pitch me who you want, and I'll agree or disagree. Going for Knack on the goalie, 100%. 100%. Let's go for that. I don't understand sports at all, and if you struggle with a PlayStation character, I might be able to provide that to you. But next
It should be
position.
Phil deciding who it is, really, and we give the choices because he's got the football knowledge. But
I've also got some ideas, so I'm easy with this.
oh yeah, we'll do this then. We'll do this.
There
But
you go.
if you don't like either of our ideas and you have a better one yourself, lay it
I
out.
will. I'll chime in. I'll chime in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Knack's fucking fantastic. That was beating whatever I was going to put up.
Straight, bro.
So what's the next position, Phil?
Defender would be the next one.
Okay.
So Spence, do you want to go first on this one?
I've got two choices
Well, you only get
for
one.
this. I know.
You do only get
So-
one.
The other one, actually, no, I won't pick the one I was going to say. I'm going to go Fat Princess.
Oh, why?
Good luck getting past her, bro. She's massive.
Yeah, but everyone would get past her. She doesn't even fucking move. She needs to be carried around. She'd be
Yeah.
useless.
Nah,
Phil, I
she's
think-
there, bro.
I think you got an open goal here, Phil. I think anyone you pick, I'm going to be like, yeah, let's vibe with this one. Who have you got?
So for me, I was going to go for Joel from The Last of Us because he's a very physical character, isn't he, Joel? And he doesn't mind getting his hands dirty and getting right down in the nonsense, in the dark arts. I think Joel would really excel in football and he'd be able to block people off, you know. And he's very protective, isn't he, Joel? You know, he'll go to the end of the world and back and lie about everything to protect who he wants to. Not to give away the game or the series, but he will. So I'm putting the goal as the thing that he's trying to protect, and I think he will just do anything to protect that goal.
Vibing.
Um,
Vibing with it.
Let me argue my case, please.
Go on.
It sounds like a great idea. He'd get a red card immediately and be sent off.
There is potential
I mean,
with that.
some of the best defenders do get red cards quite often, but they're still regarded as the best defenders.
Yeah.
Because the time they're on the pitch, you
Sometimes
ain't
they
getting
got
past
to,
them.
yeah. Sometimes you got to cripple the opponent's striker, mate. Sometimes you just got to do that. You got to be that, get the hands on and go for those dirty tackles, mate. If it stops the
would.
goal, stops the goal.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fair enough. So midfielder, is it next?
Did you make your choice, or
Oh yeah, it's 100% Joel. Fat Princess would be useless, man. She's
Massive, bro.
yeah, she's massive, but she doesn't do anything.
She'd be good
So
at goals.
She'd be all right in goals. Goals, I could see it being more logical thing. She'd
Yeah,
block
yeah,
the
my
goal.
fault, my fault.
But defender, she's got to at least move, and she needs to be carried around. So she'd be useless. She'd take up half your team. So yeah, no chance, no chance. Not having that one. So midfielder,
You
Go on,
first
then,
this time, Phil?
yeah, Phil, kick it off.
Okay, for a midfielder, I was thinking Aloy because she's smart, she's tactical, and she can read every blade of grass. When she gets a little scanner going, she can read into the details and sort of predict what's happening, or sort of weak points in the opposing defence. So she'd be able to target exactly the right element to go in at and exactly the right time. So I think she's got an unfair advantage, but she would definitely be my pick if we could get her gear into the goal.
Love it. Love it. Spence, your
It's
retort?
pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's going to be a hard one for me to beat. My choice would have been Sly Cooper. Because Sly Cooper, mate, one, he's slippery, bro. I reckon the other team wouldn't even notice him there. And then he's able to sneakily get that ball and kick it forward to the strikers, you know. I reckon he'd be good. And I reckon he'd be chatting mad shit to the other team as well. Proper riling them up. I reckon he'd be good. But Aloy's also a fantastic shout, so I won't be mad if you win this one.
Yeah, I gotta give it to Aloy. I think the focus, she'll definitely have the focus. No other gadgets.
Exactly.
The focus for sure. And with
Imagine
that,
she had the Tripcaster. She'd be great.
yeah, probably a bit too powerful.
I just had the gun, bro.
Yeah. The focus, at least I can see, and it would give her such a tactical edge. Should be getting those lobs in. Exactly.
She'd be a
what you want her.
midfield general, wouldn't she? Ordering
She would.
everybody all over the place.
Yeah, she'd be good.
Predicting the plays.
Yeah, she'd be really good. And she's really physical too. So she can hold her
Yeah,
own.
that's true.
So, yeah, I like it. I really like it. So we're on to striker next.
Yep, striker would be our last position.
I've already got someone in mind for this.
So do
So
I.
if somebody comes out with that, it's going to win. But I'll be honest. I'll be a fair referee in this debate. Give me your strikers, boys. Spence, we're over to you to kick off, I think.
All right. So the one I'm going to go with, because I've got actually quite a few in mind, but I'm going to go with Nate.
Oh,
Mostly because, one, he is mega athletic. He's strong as hell, climbing up all them rocks and stuff, runs for days, so he's got great leg strength, he's fast. But also, he's annoying, mega annoying. He would be in the defender's ears, and they would 100% tackle him, get a free kick or a pen, and he's scoring. All the time that would be his play. All the best strikers just get tackled in the box and then score a pen. That's what he'll do.
I like it. And he's got luck.
Oh, so much luck. Yeah.
He's got a lot of lady luck, doesn't he? So he can put things off that people wouldn't see coming. I do like it. What about yourself, Mr. Hoy?
Well, I was actually going to go for Nathan Drake the same, just because one of the elements was luck that I picked out. And he's great with the ladies. Strikers always need to be good with the ladies, you know. If you're going to date anyone on the football team, people tend to date the strikers first, and Nate would be first in line for that. And so Nate, he's somewhat chaotic in the way he sort of handles things, but he's always in the right place at the right time, and that's what a striker needs to be. So we're going to pick the same, but slightly different reasons.
Well, I think I'm gonna come in with my take on this, and strikers Kratos.
I was
all
going to Kratos is
goddamn
my
day.
other one, yeah.
He's faster than light, so he's there. He's got faster than light speed properties. Kratos. He's a god. No one's tackling him at all ever. And you're gonna beat him in a fucking header? No way. If someone lobs it, what? He fucking jumped the stadium, bro. So yeah, no chance. Kratos just don't. He's a fucking general, a Spartan general. He's got more experience than anybody else here by thousands of years. If my guy was playing football for this amount of time, he's a fucking literal god. No one. He could run it off. He'd be like in PES 1998 that I used to play, where you could pass it to the one person, he could just do the entire team.
I'll tell you right now why it can't be Kratos, bro.
Why?
I was going to say Kratos too, but I've thought about it. One, he never kicks stuff, so he's so strong. He is skying that ball, flying over the goal, and as soon as he does it, he's losing his head and getting sent off.
Make a very compelling point.
Nate doesn't lose his cool very often.
No,
No.
and he's extremely lucky to the point where it's going to happen. You know, it's going to happen for him. He always makes it out in the end. All right, fuck it. On a 2-1, it's Nate. So our football team is, we got Knack in goals, Joel as defender, Aloy as midfield, and Nathan Drake as our striker.
Seems
Loving
pretty strong.
that, boys.
I like it.
That's a great team.
Do we need a manager?
Yeah, fuck it. Go on, man.
Go on then.
Oh, it'd be you first, Phil. Go on, who's your manager?
Oh, thanks, Spence.
I got one if you want one.
I got one too.
I think it's the quiz host from Buzz.
That's what I was going to say.
No way.
Because he's got infinite knowledge, very worldly, knows a little bit about everything, and he's an expert in multiple areas. And I think that's what you need to do as a manager. You need to have command of the room, and whenever he walks in, everyone pays attention to the guy from Buzz. And he's very entertaining and charismatic kind of guy, and I can see him doing very well in an interview.
Fuck me.
That's
Have we
awesome,
all
bro.
thought Buzz immediately for manager?
Did you think Buzz as well, Davey?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Really, he'd be better on like the commentary.
Commentating. Yeah.
Really, because even on Buzz, he's not even the one asking the questions. It's never it. He doesn't know shit. But he'd be class as a coach. Yeah,
He would.
Yeah.
He'd be
Or a
great.
manager. He'd be so good. Yeah, Buzz. Immediately, I thought of Buzz. That's awesome.
There you go. So, Tristan, sorry to take your question and then spin it off to something we do understand rather than American football, but this is a British podcast after all. What do you expect? Hope you enjoyed the answer anyway. And let's move it on to the next question. Next one is from Discord. It's Red CD. Written in say, give me your hottest gaming takes. My personal favourite from Spencer, which isn't really a hot take, but it's that samurai games are done. And it's an oversaturated market. There you go. You're getting Red CD's take on the favourite hot take. Now, guys, I will preface this by saying I think this is going to be quite tricky for all of us because I think we've all come out with our gaming hot takes fucking time and time again. So if I was to start off, which I am, the obvious answer would be that whatever the most popular of a series isn't the best. That's generally the case, right? But like you think about it for Metal Gear, as you already mentioned earlier in the show, Phil, 3 isn't the best. I'll argue the toss for any of the others, but it's not 3. For the game that can't be mentioned, Jesus Christ, and they slipped up. A lot of people say 4. No chance for me, right? That's the one that comes up the most, but that is not going to be my answer today. So I've scraped the barrel. I thought about this a little bit. I want to hear from you guys. Phil, let's kick off with you.
Okay, and my hot take, I think I spoke about it earlier. Well, I definitely did. So my hot take is playing games online with a subscription is absolute bullshit. Having that in the system where you actually have to pay for this is bullshit. And considering online play these days, if we didn't have this barrier to entry, live service would be far more successful. I think playing online and paying for this is outdated and anti-customer. I think if you buy a multiplayer game, you should be able to play the multiplayer part without the subscription. And that used to work for me, where you would get a game and then to play online, the actual tack-on multiplayer stuff, back in the PS4 time, you wouldn't be able to get the trophies because you wouldn't be able to have the online play. And you'd have to subscribe to it, so it was a barrier to entry. But nowadays, live service, we're talking about Concord, we're talking about Marathon, we're talking about that other bullshit game that you guys loved where you're riding around on donkeys and bears, fighting people and defusing. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah,
Love
different
is a
things.
loose term.
I think those games would be vastly more popular if they were available to people without the subscription. Now, if you look at games like Fortnite, and I think there's a couple of the games on PlayStation that you can play online without paying for the online subscription, those are very, very popular because there's no barrier to entry. The games are free and you can just get in and you can play and you can frag about and you can enjoy yourself for free. And I think that's what's really missing from the online service games that Sony is pushing and has been pushing for quite some time, quite hard. It's just too expensive for a lot of people. And people like to switch around. People like to try a bunch of things. It's a lot of money. So my hot take, paying for online play is bullshit.
Fair enough. We've definitely heard that one before, but
it's nothing new from me.
It's still a hot take then, my dude. So, Spence, what about you?
All right. I will say, I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure High Guard was free to play online.
It was?
I'm pretty sure any game that is free to play, you can just play without a membership. I'm pretty sure that is just them's the rules. But I do agree with you, though. It is annoying. But, times are changing. That's the way it's gone. My hot take, which I think is valid, but I'm also guilty of it myself. I think everyone's guilty of it in some way, shape or form. If you haven't played a video game, you shouldn't have an opinion on it, I think, is my hot take. So many people review bomb the fuck out of a game they've never even considered buying or playing, just from looking at one trailer or reading one article somewhere or watching a review from someone who famously doesn't like games or something, and then just shit on it. Or they just see that everyone else doesn't like it on Twitter and just hops on the bandwagon and then review bomb it to fuck. That needs to stop. Why waste your time in it? Why are you spending your days shitting on a game you don't actually even care about because you're not going to play it? That bothers me a lot, and that is my hot take. I know I'm guilty of it with, like, say, Cyberpunk, but that was me saying I think it's going to be ass, and then it launched and it was ass. Granted, it's good now, I know that. I'm still not going to play it because I have that, opinion on it, but I'm happy to admit it's good now, and that's fine. But so many people stick by their guns and say this game's shit, having never touched it. Cut that shit out.
I was going to say, you also get people that maybe play an hour of the game and form a very rounded opinion on it. Like reviewers, you see that a lot, don't you? Because they don't generally have enough time to be able to, get partway through a game to be able to give their review, and they're kind of forced by the pressures of the sort of system that they operate within, that they need to get these reviews out. And, you can't really blame them for wanting to earn money in that way. But they somewhat come across like half-cooked, especially for someone who has spent that time and gone through that game. So, yeah, opinions after an hour, very, very difficult. And I think when we introduce games, we're always very clear to say how long we've actually played a game for when we do give a rating. And we tend to update those ratings. So we try and avoid being too much of a hypocrite when it comes to that standpoint. But, that irks me. It really does.
I think what you're getting at, Spence, is that, and this is the crux of it, right, is that you can have opinions on if, like, you like something or you don't like it, but just don't go out of your way to ruin everyone else's fun, right? Like, in terms of, we might sit there, like, I shit all over Infinity Nikki, like, for episodes, right? And Flight Sim, stuff like that. But I wouldn't go out of my way to go on and tank their review score. Like, and to fuck up somebody else's.
No one would know with the accounts you've got.
But you get where I'm coming at, right? Like, people take it too far. Like, it's fine having an opinion, saying you don't like something or it's not for you or whatever it is, right? But then going out and taking it one step further and just, like, artificially reducing a score of something that you haven't even tried just hurts that product for, like, no reason, And people do care about those scores. I think these days user scores are just fucking useless, right? Like, they really are so bad. But that's kind of the crux of where I'm taking your question, or am I reading it differently to how you just said?
No, mate, it's bang on. Yeah, like I said, I've been guilty of it. You can have bad opinions, it's fine, but that's your opinion, And if you've not played the game, your opinion isn't really based on much. Yeah, and like, even like all of us were shitting on Infinity Nikki, but our opinion was based on
nothing.
It being a weeaboo Japanese game. It might be fantastic. We said whilst we were shitting on it, we said, I bet it's great.
Yeah,
but we're still shitting on it just because it's not our kind of game, and that's fine. But we're not going out publicly doing it. Well, we are on a podcast.
Well, no, but
we're not reviewing the game poorly.
Yeah, we're not passing off as if we've played it and we have an opinion on it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
it's that
right,
context, isn't it? When you put a review up, you generally would think that you've played it, right? To be able to post a review and give it 0 score or whatever. So yeah, I fully get it. Good one. So my one, and this is a hot take, and I don't think I've ever said this on the show, but I fully believe this, and I think a lot of people would probably disagree. Gaming is better now than it ever has been. 100%. I think that we look over this console generation, and there's been more potential Game of the Year contenders, like 10 out of 10s, than I've ever known. Right? Like, we're in a generation where you've got games like Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, fucking Expedition 33, all just coming off the top of my head in terms of games that are like absolutely generational games. And we got loads of them. And I think that every single year we get an influx of games that we don't have time for, and each of them are at a way better quality than what we ever would have had back on my favorite generation on PS3. Right? Very few games. There's the PS3 is a fantastic console, right? But it was running the gambit of the type of games that you got. You've got a fucking great game or a fucking dog shit. Whereas here, it seems to be like great is just the average now. Like what would be a great game back then is just like a 7 out of 10. Like Pragmata, you guys are saying, right? Like an 8 or something. That's the average now. The bar has been so highly raised from everything that's kind of come before that sure it does mean closures and things like that, and it's bad news bears, but in terms of us as a player, we got so much choice, so many games that are available all the time, and they're all fucking of at least great quality. I think it is the best time to ever be a gamer right now.
You see a lot of those things on Twitter, don't you? The best year of gaming. I think a lot of people stick with 2004, and I just had to Google that because there's so many games that came out in 2004 which statistically are the highest average game review score in history. So that was a very good year, but I do agree with you, Davey. Gaming is progressing. It's going in the right direction, and there's so many fabulous experiences out there, but you only have to go down the list in 2004 and go, that was a good game. Good year for gaming, that one. Really good.
Yeah. I agree with that as well. However, if any of those games released now, they wouldn't have those scores. Do you know what I mean? So I completely agree with you, Davey, that, yeah, gaming is so sick now. It's fantastic. My only issue with gaming now is that it's less couch co-op friendly. But that's it, really. And even then, online's so good that it's kind of fine that that's the way it is. And we have Discord where we can talk to each other, we can even look at each other at the same time. We do still have plenty of couch co-op games with like It Takes Two, Split Fiction, A Way Out. You know, there are those games there for people to want them. They're just not as common anymore. But yeah, it's fine.
I think, you know, like people will say like, oh, it's all trend chasing now. It's all, you know, like extraction shooters, the big thing right now. And next it's going to be, you know, we're going back to more like kind of hero shooters and that kind of shit. Always been the case of trend chasing ever since I've known gaming, right? Like as soon as we had like first person shooters started being all the rage and COD was blowing up back in like, you know, early PS3 days, everything started copying COD's multiplayer. Everything did. Multiplayer was the big push that everyone was doing. And then it was going to be like sandboxy games like GTA, and then everyone started doing those to death. And then it was like Arkham-esque games with the Arkham combat system. It's always been a kind of corporate trend chasing shit. I think it's just a lot more eyes on it now. A lot more. The ecosystem is so wide now and so big. And it's so easy to get in contact with people with Twitter and shit like that. That it's easy to form, to have your kind of opinions out there and they get listened to. Whereas back on PS3, unless you were fucking knew somebody that was into gaming or whatever, you couldn't really go on and vent too much other than like, you know, game facts or something. So it's a lot easier to be like kind of looking at it through like a kind of dystopian or fucking negative lens right now. But generally, the future's fucking good. We don't have enough time to play the games that came out last year.
Yeah, or
and the
4
year
years
before
ago.
that,
yeah.
you know? Let
Plus,
alone the stuff that's out now.
Also now, it is just, you actually do get a variety of games now. Like, back in, like you said, the PS3 days, every game was the same kind of game.
Everything was brown at the time.
Yeah.
Every protagonist had a shaved head.
Yeah, everything was a twist of the same game. Whereas now, like, look at the recent releases, Expedition, Hollow Knight, two vastly different games, insane scores, both masterpieces in their own right. Sure, PlayStation do typically do that third-person game thing, but they all are very, very different games. Like, one of them, you're an archaeologist or just a treasure hunter, being Nate. One of them, you're a god, you know, being Kratos. They are very different, even if they are kind of same camera perspective or something. Games are just so varied now. I could not agree with you more that gaming is at its peak, and I think it's only getting better.
And so, with that, we should move on to the final question of today. And this one comes from J-Rod, and he really just wants us to talk about the continued abuse of physical collectors. And this is because the new Star Wars Racer Collector's Edition is out, and it includes a steel case, but the game inside is actually a digital deluxe edition that's included with it. Now, we've covered this before on the show in quite a bit of depth, but I'm wondering if anyone else's opinions have changed on this compared to where they were before. So I'm gonna come and start my piece on this. I remember when they first started releasing collector's editions that had no game code inside, and I remember thinking, what a fucking dumb idea. I fucking hate this. This is so stupid. I fucking detest it. Awful. Why ship an empty steelbook? Blah 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 blah. These days, I quite like not having the game included. The reason is because a lot of these things don't sell out frame one, or they get put back into circulation. And it means that if you find a game and you've enjoyed it, you can then pick up all the knickknacks that come with that kind of after the fact without having to have 2 copies of the game. Like I done for fucking Expedition 33, and like I'm going to do for Marathon. When I see that collector's edition at a price that I'm willing to pay, I'm going to pick it up. And it doesn't include the game. And I'm fucking over the moon with that. Like, I really am. Whereas years ago, I would have been distraught. And I think for me, when you've got a steelbook that has a digital game code included in there, I've come to terms with this over years, that this is just a logical step. Because not everyone now at this point even has a fucking disk drive. Right? Like, there's no certainty that someone's going to have a disk drive anymore. They might have the digital PlayStation 5. So the thing that you cater to everyone is by having a digital code. Came to terms with that ages ago. So for me, I kind of disagree with J-Rod here in that I don't need to have the game included. I quite like it being a separate pack for the collector's edition that doesn't have anything with it. Because then I can go back and make my decision at a later point and not have 2 copies of a game. And it's a way to be able to decrease the price slightly on the collector's edition knickknacks by not including a 70 quid game within that. That's my take, and I know I've definitely changed opinion from where I was 2 years ago when we probably last discussed this kind of thing. But I wonder if anyone else has kind of moved along with that, or if I'm very much on my own now at this point. Phil, I'm going to come to you first.
No, I'm the same. I haven't really changed my opinion on this one. It really annoys me. When you get a collector's edition, you spend all that money and you don't get a physical representation of the game. An empty steelbook is a horrible feeling for someone who is a physical game collector and who gets a lot of pleasure out of having these things on the shelf. You know, it just makes me have to buy the game twice. And I think the discomfort that I experience from that is way stronger than you actually owning 2 games when you decide to buy the collector's edition, when you want to double dip, when you decide you like the game to buy the collector's edition. You know, for the people who want to take the risk when it's early to buy the collector's edition, I do think you should get an option to have a version with the game in and a version without the game, because PlayStation is split these days. It's digital and physical. I think collector's editions definitely need to have that option where you can buy a version which has the game and a version which has the digital code, rather than just being forced down the digital route.
Fair enough. Something that's just not going to happen, though, is it? Because it's extra packaging, it's extra, like, you've got to split the production on that. It's just something that's
Did Assassin's Creed not do that? I can't remember being at a game show where Assassin's Creed had a bunch of different collector's editions, and like some had the game, some didn't have the game. Now I might have been totally making that up, but I'm sure it has been a thing. But you're right, it would take a lot more effort, and maybe the payoff isn't so great. But it definitely deads off this conversation, because PlayStation has decided to go down 2 different routes, and I think options is ultimately customer focused rather than being business focused and just kind of bending over and accepting it.
Yeah, fair. It's a really, really fair point. Spence, what about you?
I think, for one, anyway, I think the Assassin's Creed thing you're on about, Phil, I don't think it was an option. I think Assassin's Creed was the first game to do a collector's edition that didn't come with the game in any form. I might be wrong as well, though, but that's what I'm remembering. But for me, my thoughts on this, I would rather it either come with the game or it not come with the game at all, like physical or no digital. Because if you're getting a steelbook and a digital code, that pisses me off. But if there's no steelbook, digital code's fine. My opinion has changed on this, in the same way yours has, Davey. And it's because of Expedition 33, I'll be honest. It's the only reason why. Because after playing that game and adoring it, I wish I could have bought that collector's edition. I'm so gutted I missed out on it. And if it ever does come back, or I ever see it for a good price, I am 100% picking it up. And I think just last episode, or maybe the one prior, I was talking about Marathon Collector's Edition and saying it's a beautiful collector's edition. I think I'm going to pick it up when the price goes down, because it's just something nice to have. And it's something that prior to playing Marathon, I wouldn't have even considered. And so the fact that I can buy it with no game and it be affordable because of that, brilliant. Because I already have the game. I actually love it. I'm completely with you. I think it's fantastic as long as it's one of those cases where they do re-release it down the line and it doesn't sell out right away. If it's pre-order only and it doesn't come with the game, that I'm not on board with. Because if I have to buy that then, because I know it's pre-order only, and then the game's ass, fuming, you know?
Yeah,
but if I can like retroactively get it later down the line because I adore the game, completely on board.
Yeah.
I've just done a bit of a Google on the Assassin's Creed, and I was correct. So Assassin's Creed did have a collector's edition with the game, but they also did what's known as a collector's case. Okay,
Ooh,
and that would just have the knickknacks that you guys are talking about. So maybe that would be an option for the future. It's much harder to set up, but it would be two different SKUs of being able to sell that merch. One being more expensive as a collector's edition, and then a collector's case as the Assassin's Creed or Ubisoft used to coin it just for their knickknacks. Maybe that is an option. You never know.
Yeah,
I'm on board with that. That I completely agree with.
Yeah, I'm on board for that for sure. As you were saying, Phil, choice is the best thing, right? And in a perfect world, if they could just, cater to everyone and you could just kind of customize it a little bit, that would be the best scenario. But failing that, being able to have like two options, one that includes one and one doesn't, that's fucking good to me. That's class to me. Because I've two experiences now in my life of where that's going to come in clutch. So, and there's other times where Horizon 2, maybe I wouldn't have bought the collector's edition if I'd played that game first, you know? And got it later, but never mind. It is what it is. J-Rod, hope you're happy with the question, and this is the same for all of you listeners. Thank you ever so much for writing, and really, really appreciate each and every single one of you. If you want to take part in the show, there's a couple of ways that you can do it. The first is reach out to us on Spotify comments, YouTube comments, things like that. You can discuss with us right there and then. Phil looks after the YouTube comments. I look after the Spotify. We'll catch you in there. If you want to join the community, join the Discord. I always go into the Discord just before we record the show and gather questions from there, as well as on Twitter as well. So consider giving us a follow on that. If you're enjoying the show, one way that you can support us is to put a review on. We are growing in the reviews. We're staying strong on a 4.9, so thank you for every single one of you out there. Really, really do appreciate it. I'd love to get to 40 reviews after this episode, so if you can make that a reality, we're 2 off from it, I'd really, really appreciate it. Thank you ever so much. And that brings episode 135 to a resounding close. Lads, it has been an absolute pleasure, a joy, a real privilege to be able to sit here and podcast with you boys, as it always is. I've been Davey.
I've been Phil.
And I've been Spencer.
Take care, guys.
Peace.
In PS We Trust is hosted by Davey, Phil, and Spencer. You can write into the show via our email, pswetrust@gmail.com. Our Twitter is @InPSWeTrust. To find each of us online, follow our Twitters, @SSJDavey, @PhilipHoy, @SpenPie_. Thank you for listening. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. See ya.